All right, a Wednesday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Drake, Jack Johnson hanging out until 2 o'clock. Next 4 hours, we've got you. A lot of stuff to get into and talk about today. We will talk some Royals baseball. We'll talk some Major League Baseball All-Star break. We'll get into ABS. We'll get into home run derbies, swing-offs, Adam Frazier, Trey Smith's salary cap numbers, Trent McDuffie, if he is next in line. Top wide receivers, Shamar Stewart, is he going to return to Texas A&M? That's a fascinating story to watch. Good God. And plenty of other things along the way. 913-912-4810. Officially waiting for the next couple of days now for the second half, quote-unquote, to get underway. The 65 games remaining for the Royals. The 32 home games and 35 road games. And quite frankly, a tough stretch starting August 1st. So right after the trade deadline, they've got a difficult road trip with games against the Blue Jays and Red Sox and Twins, I think.
And Twins.
I didn't do that on purpose, I promise you.
I thought you were doing the Coors Light.
As I got to the I think, I'm like, oh, wait, was that kind of like the Coors Light?
I love
and
quarterbacks
Twins.
eating dirt, pom-poms, and short skirts. Fans who won't quit, Jason, and...
Twins, Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Twins. Least surprising thing of the day is that Sterling knew the words to that television commercial.
Oh, even better, when I worked for the 76ers, that was my song. Anytime I would make a season ticket sale, you'd play a song. And it was everyone had like normal songs, and I was like, I'm going to be funny. And so I was like, hey,
right, good to know.
Put the Coors Light commercial on for me, please.
Good to know. Good to know.
So it tracks, yes.
All right, 913-912-4810 is the text line to join us. 913-912-4810, text line to be a part of the show, part of the conversation. Yes, there is news regarding the Kansas City Royals. Trade deadline moves are already being made. They are already pressing buttons, and the Royals have acquired a bat. They have traded for Adam Frazier. Oh, darn it, I should have set it up with a former Royal. A former Royal is returning to Kansas City in a trade to bring a bat to Kansas City. It's Ryan O'Hare. Nope. Brent Rook. Nope. Adam Frazier. Adam Frazier is now a Kansas City Royal. They have traded Cam Devaney. I really appreciated all the times we got to see Cam Devaney take his at-bats in the big league club while he was up with the big league club for the last week. That was cool that he never actually got in a game. Not even Moonlight Graham, not even a half inning in the outfield. Cam Devaney yet to make his major league debut playing, or at least on the major league roster for the final 5 games of the first half of the season, and now he is a Pittsburgh Pirate.
I am so mad.
Why?
I am livid.
Why?
I am irked.
Why?
This move has my ire.
Okay.
Because I am angry. I'll use that last.
I could give neither a hoot nor a holler, as you would say.
No, I give many hoots and many hollers. I will holler about this deal because why the bleep? You know who Adam Frazier is. You saw him firsthand.
Oh, I know.
Dude cannot hit. Yeah, he's better this year than last year. OPS plus of 83.
Yeah, but what was he last year?
You have Adam Frazier at home. He's in the minors. It's Kevin Biggio. You have Adam Frazier at home. What are the Royals doing? Cam Devaney at least has some pop in the mind. Like, I don't give a. I'm beside myself. I cannot believe that this was even I thought this was a April Fool's joke, but it's July 15th or 16th today.
Yeah.
Why? I have one question for you, JJ. Why?
What about you, JJ?
Yeah, I mean,
Jack Johnson.
I've got a few thoughts on this. Number one,
how dare you?
You gave up a 30-year-old rookie, basically. If you were counting on Cam Devaney to be much for this offense, and I understand the argument of, well, Adam Frazier's terrible and Cam Devaney couldn't be any worse. We've played that game too many times this year. We have said that with Hunter Renfroe. It can't be any worse out there in right field. And yet offensively, you've gotten production worse than Hunter Renfroe.
John Rave is going to give you a boost. Look what he's doing in the minor leagues. Bring him up and let him play. Okay, well.
Exactly. And that's where I look at this move. Surprisingly, Adam Frazier's been fine for Pittsburgh this year. He's hitting 255. He's much better than he was last year. I'm not saying he's the fix. But you know what the Royals' bench is? Do you know what they're getting off the bench? They've got 3 guys that are hitting sub 200 this year. Mark Canha is another guy who's on the IL who's hitting sub 215. This is a move, if anything. If you want to be positive about it, you don't make a move for a rental if you aren't serious about adding more pieces there. And I wasn't expecting the Royals to add a rental, and Adam Frazier's exactly that.
That was my takeaway when I saw it, was I don't think you trade Cam Devaney for Adam Frazier if you are going to be sellers in a couple of weeks. Now, maybe this team starts losing over the next couple of weeks, and they are 7-8 games out of the wild card. They don't play well in these last 12 games before the trade deadline. Then at that point, all right, you've got Adam Frazier the rest of the way. You gave up Cam Devaney. You clearly don't think much of him because what he's been doing in AAA, and then you brought him up, and then he couldn't even get
They clearly thought nothing about Brent Rooker either.
On the field.
They clearly thought nothing about Brent
I
Rooker.
agree. Yeah, right. I mean, we saw that. They didn't think much about Ryan O'Hearn.
Or Whit Merrifield. No, Ryan O'Hearn's different.
They thought more of Ryan O'Hearn than they did Brent Rooker. They gave Brent Rooker, all of 14 games to play.
They did, and the Twins and the Padres didn't think anything of Brent Rooker, so...
I'll give Ryan O'Hearn a pass because they tried with him. It just wasn't going to work here in KC. That's Ryan O'Hearn going to Baltimore and figuring things out. But Brent Rooker, and again, I'm not saying Cam Devaney's Whit Merrifield, but you know exactly what Adam Frazier is. You have a plethora of guys like Adam Frazier that you can just plug and play. I get what you're saying, Jack. You're saying, well, it can't be worse than the minors. But Kevin Biggio is basically the exact same profile as Adam Frazier.
But
Adam Frazier has a better batting average this year.
Yeah.
But about the same on-base percentage and the same slug. Like, at some point, you're just getting a guy who's going to hit 255 and only singles. Nice. That does not move the needle for this offense. This offense does not need that.
I'm not sure, though, this is the move, though, to boost the offense. It sounds like, at least from what Andy Rogers was saying, that a great clubhouse guy, they wanted to have a little extra help. Also, where was Cam Devaney going to play? He wasn't going to play the outfield. He was a second baseman, shortstop, and third baseman. Adam Frazier at least can play a corner outfield spot. I think it's just a wash trade. Like, if Cam Devaney gets DFA'd in a few weeks, are we saying that it's an awful move? Even if Adam Frazier's hitting 230.
I still don't want Adam Frazier, I guess. My point is I don't want
Adam
Adam Frazier
back, though. You're not getting much back for Cam Devaney. I'm not a fan of the deal either, Sterling, so I'm on your side.
I don't want Adam Frazier on the roster is more or less my point. I don't think he brings anything. I don't think he's making this team better. I think you have a plethora of guys similar to Adam Frazier in the minors and in the majors. I don't think that's the answer.
I don't think you make this move if you are planning on selling in a couple of weeks, and here's why. Because if you're planning on selling in a couple of weeks, then you don't trade for Adam Frazier and you don't trade Cam Devaney. You let John Rave play. You continue to figure out what you have in these guys if you are selling in a couple of weeks.
Sure.
Lugo would obviously be a guy that you would be moving on from. I think if you are true sellers, Freddie Fermin is going to be on another team because a guy that plays defense at that premium position like he does and offers you at least a serviceable bat as a catcher. I've mentioned the team a number of times. I think the Padres would be coming and calling for Freddie Fermin immediately. If the Royals said Fermin is on the market and we'll take some phone calls, I think the Padres would say yes. We are in on that guy. But if you are truly selling, then there's no reason to trade a Cam Devaney because then at that point it's like, okay, what do we have in this guy at the big league level? Okay, what do we have in John Rave? It looks like they don't have much. But if they move him down to AAA and say, we're not seeing what we want to see from John Rave, and the rest of the season, you're just playing out the string. And then next year, it's like, oh, well, John Rave had a good spring training. Well, let's bring up John Rave is killing the baseball again. Let's bring him up. No, we gave him an extended time. We saw what he was. He played every day. And this is the guy that he is. We can move on now. and not worry about John. And that's just an example.
But
is
isn't
what I'm
that
saying.
we can say with Adam Frazier? We saw what he was
Well, I know,
too,
but I'm-
batting 202 last year.
But that's my point. My point is this does not tell me that they are going to be selling.
Sure.
Because if they're going to be selling, you wouldn't bring in Adam Frazier for Devaney. You would say, I'd like to know what we have in Devaney. And if we don't see what we want to, we'll DFA him and we'll move on from him. But I know what Adam Frazier is, and Adam Frazier is a guy we want on this team as a bench position player, a good clubhouse guy, a winner. A guy that's been there, done that, can come off the bench, play different positions, can give you flexibility late in the game because we are trying to win every single game the rest of the way in August and September and in the playoffs because we are going for it. I don't think you make this move if this was we're kind of in a holding pattern, kind of figuring this out. To me, this would be a move that you would make in a couple of weeks when you have a better idea of what you are. I can understand where JJ may come from and say, well, we're still in a holding pattern, but this was available, and we don't feel like we're giving up much because clearly they didn't think much of Cam Devaney.
Agreed.
But there are plenty of other examples like you've given. They didn't think much of Brent Rooker. They didn't think much of Whit Merrifield. They didn't think much of certain guys, but they also didn't think much of Drew Waters. And then he came up, and for 3 weeks he was awesome, but now he's being the Drew Waters that they didn't think much of, and he's back down at AAA. So they didn't think much of Cam Devaney, and from J.J. Piccolo's standpoint, could be this guy's available right now, and in 2 weeks, if we are in a holding pattern or if we're buying, well, then now we've got this guy that can help us out with the bench if we're winning a number of games. Maybe he helps us win one game along the way, and now we're at 8-4 instead of 7-5, and now we're above 500 and feel better about how close we are, and now we can go and be buyers, as opposed to, well, he's not on this team. You've got Tolbert and other guys that you're going for to bring in off the bench. These are the only guys that you have there. So that's all you have to go with. And then come trade deadline season, well, you still have Cam Devaney, but you don't think much of him. And we're going to go now and buy, but Adam Frazier has been traded to a different team. I'm trying to find the thought process here. I'm thinking out loud the thought process of what's going on as to what this trade is. Because I am still on board of I would be selling. Because I am not in the camp of just make the postseason this year because there's value in making it back-to-back seasons. Again, talked about it last week. I think the value in the Royals making back-to-back postseasons is only encompassed in how bad they've been their entire organization since 85, since early 90s. That's why there's value in making it back-to-back years, because you've done it once.
Since then.
I mean, you've done it once. 14-15. You went that entire stretch without making the postseason. Then you make another one after 100 lost seasons. You make another postseason, and it's like, well, if you get back, now you've made it back-to-back years. There's value there. And then if you lose a couple of games in the wild card, how much value was that? I would rather them be in a position to where they can make a true run next year if you were to get something for Seth Lugo. That's the position I have been in. It's the position I maintain that I would like to be in, because if Cole Reagans can come back in mid-August, I can understand somebody saying, yeah, but if Cole Reagans comes back in mid-August, now you're buyers and then you get Cole Reagans back. My pushback would be, yeah, but if you get Cole Reagans back in mid-August, he just slides right into where Seth Lugo was, and you continue with your rotation the way that it is, and you've traded off Seth Lugo, and now Reagans is that spot, and you continue moving forward with this, and if your offense gets better, well, then now you can make a run to make the postseason, and you've made yourself better for the long term. There's the micro and the macro, and the micro is what do you do this particular year? The macro is your entire organization. This team has told you how good they are, and they are answering the question of whether or not you should be buyers or sellers. They are answering the question for you, and this is it's a head-scratching move because Adam Frazier is, generic.
It's Drew Waters.
Yeah, I mean, he's an older Drew Waters and been there, done that a little bit more than Drew Waters. He's going to give you a nice. I've joked around about Adam Frazier competed in the nice piece of hitting derby on Monday, fresh off the nice piece of hitting by Adam Frazier derby, and they move on from somebody they clearly
Hitting
did
coach.
not believe in.
Adam Frazier, hitting coach.
Yeah. And they didn't believe in Cam Devaney, obviously, because if they thought of anything about him, he would have had at least an at-bat along the way. And that's unfortunate. You probably could have found an at-bat for him at some point. to play. But you did not, and now he's a Pittsburgh Pirate, and we'll see if he gets opportunities to play or if he goes down to AAA for Pittsburgh and, doesn't make it up with the big league club.
I'd be even more mad for him because that's a chance you made it to the majors and you never got even a at-bat.
Yeah.
I'm with you, by the way, though, with the Seth Lugo talk because I do think there's a situation where you're still trying to compete this year, but you sell Seth Lugo because he's going to be the best return on the open market or at least the trade deadline market because of what he provides. You and I have talked a lot about if you're not going to re-sign him for next year or the 3-year, $75 million contract that he's going to get because of Nathan Eovaldi's deal, then you should be looking to trade him. And you're right, because Cole Reagans, if he comes back in August, that would be the guy that slides into the Seth Lugo spot because you've gotten so much production from Noah Cameron. Yeah. I think we're all on board with him. That's still a great three-game series. Reagans, Bubic, Waka. If 7-game series, if it goes that, you'd have a fourth starter in that instance. That's Noah Cameron. I think you still like those 4.
And even if you move on from Michael Lorenzen, you've got Dick Mountain down in AAA, and he just joined Nolan Ryan. I mean, Nolan Ryan and Rich Hill are now in the same category as 45-year-olds to have 10 or more strikeouts in a game as a professional.
One was the majors, one was the minors, but still
it's
counts.
Pro ball. Getting paid to play baseball. Jax, does this send you in a direction where you think it is more, if we're setting a 50-50, right, 50% is holding, more likely buyers or more likely sellers, based specifically on this one, which could be an inconsequential move over the course of the season?
I feel this is one of those moves, too, where, as you brought it up, you could have made on July 31st, so I'm not putting it out of the realm of possibility that they try to make their big move before the second half even starts. I mean, you've got a few more days here before they're going to be in Miami. But, this is a move that you only make if you are going to keep the players you still have on the roster and add to that group. And I also wonder if this has something to do with Michael Massey. Is he going to be available anytime soon? I mean, if he's not, you can keep Cam Devaney on the roster. You can keep Nick Lofton there and maybe play Nick Lofton more at second base, but I'm seeing more of Nick Lofton in left field.
Yeah.
And for this move, what's funny about it, because I absolutely understand the outrage and frustration based off what Adam Frazier did for this team last year, but if you just blacked out his name and said the Royals are acquiring a guy who's hitting .255 with an OPS plus 14 points-ish below league average.
17,
and you look at what the Royals had on the bench this year. Kevin Biggio got on base less than 300 a clip there. You had Mark Canha, who's been terrible. John Rave has been really bad. Really, anybody on that bench not named Freddie Fermin has posted worse numbers than Adam Frazier. But I get the point and the reasons of, well, Adam Frazier was so bad for us last year. Well, what if Adam Frazier comes in and gives you what he's been doing in Pittsburgh? He's hitting .310 with guys on base this year. Is anybody on the Royals bench doing that? In my opinion, not so much. Still, if you make this move, and this is the move you make and that's all you do, it's a stupid move. Even if Cam Devaney's DFA'd and he's playing internationally here in the next couple of months. But to me, we all thought, or not all of us, but there were a lot of people that thought Walter Pennington was going to be something. Like, how in the world could you trade Walter Pennington for Michael Lorenzen? We don't need Michael Lorenzen. We clearly needed Walter Pennington. Walter Pennington was blocked in the bullpen. Where were you going to play Cam Devaney? And maybe if the reasons, well, he's just going to sit the bench, well, the Royals might want somebody that they can plug anywhere on the field, whereas Cam Devaney, if he's going to play, Bobby Witt's not playing, or Michael Garcia's not playing, or Jonathan Indy's having a DH or not playing, and then it kind of messes with your DH role as well. So I think it's just a wash move. Like, you acquire a guy that you're familiar with, the guys really liked last year, and you gave up a 28-year-old rookie. I've always believed this in baseball. When there's a 28 to 29-year-old rookie, of course you're going to have those outliers. Like, Brent Rooker was 26, 27, Whit Merrifield was older. You're going to have those outliers. But most of the time, they're going to tell you why they were a 28-year-old rookie. It's because they weren't just good enough to cut at the big league level.
Yeah. I can't wait for the Royals to go after Chris Owens again, too.
Can Chris Getz come back? Can they get...
If they can hit .255.
It's, whatever Chris wants, Chris gets. What about Duda? They need more first baseman, right? Can they have another first baseman? Let's get Lucas Duda in here. You don't need him to throw home at any point in time for this team. By the way, it would have been cool if Bobby Witt would have rounded third and just kept chugging last night in the ninth inning because
Oh,
Diaz stepped on first and then just nonchalantly was still running to right field, not even worrying about the fact that there was a man on second that was going to third on that play.
Yeah.
On the Jazz Chisholm rocket to Matt Olson, who made a great play, but then Edwin Diaz steps on first and is just sort of nonchalant still, and Matt Olson had to be like, hey, there's a guy at third when Edwin Diaz eventually. If Bobby just turns around third and goes, I think he scores, and that would have been a badass way to. That would have been a cool way to either end the All-Star game or tie the All-Star game last night, not knowing that eventually Steve, because it was 2 outs, not knowing that Quan would have the slowest hit ball of any American leaguer last night. That would tie the game at 58 miles an hour.
Why did they have a
exit velocity.
shift on him, though? That was also perplexing. I was
EV of 58.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We talked about Adam Frazier, and let's talk about the All-Star game, the ninth inning, the American League Central coming through. You're welcome, American League. The AL Central doing what the AL Central does, coming through in the ninth. The ABS system, the swing off, Chris Bubich, Mizorowski, Bobby, Michael. Also a point on Freddie Fermin. And then the overall All-Star break for Major League Baseball. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. Hey, man, if you're out there in your 40s, 50s, anything really past 30 years old, and you happen to be having symptoms that could be related to low testosterone, well, Heartland Men's Health is here to help. Guys in their early to mid-30s start losing 2 to 3% of their testosterone production every year. And it may not even be early to mid-30s, depending on lifestyle, work, stress. It may happen earlier. There are guys in their 20s that are suffering from low testosterone because of certain things that are going on in their life or genetics, things like that. If you think there might be some things that you are suffering from, maybe low energy levels, maybe you're working out and you're not seeing those gains that you were before. Now you're having to take even more supplements, maybe just to keep that baseline that you were at, or maybe the motivation even to go there because you don't have the energy level. Production at work is not there. The brain fog might be there. Decrease in libido is part of the symptoms with low testosterone. Heartland Men's Health is here to let you know what your testosterone level is. Go to heartlandmenshealth.com, take the low T quiz on the website. Simple 10-question quiz, yes, no answers, takes 2 minutes. You can also schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health. They'll do your lab work with you, have your results within 30 minutes, and then a licensed medical provider will review your results with you, discuss your options, and help you make the decision together with the medical team. Cost of the appointment is only $99, and that includes medical consult, T, and that PSA test. And if you sign up for testosterone treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Heartland Men's Health, successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. triathlon is coming up in a couple of weeks. And so Jessica Hanchett and Levi Mason will be with us hanging out, talking about Matt Mason, his life, a hero for the United States, and this triathlon and the money that's raised and what it goes to help. And a really cool thing that's been going on for a while here in the Kansas City area. So Sunday, July 27th at Smithville Lake, that will be taking place, and we'll tell you how you can get involved and volunteers and late additions if you want to be a part of the triathlon. That's coming up at 11 o'clock, the silent auction that'll be going on as well. And then at noon, we're going to talk with Joey Hammond. He's the head coach of High Point University. Also, Josh Hammond's dad, the 28th overall pick for the Kansas City Royals. Josh Hammond's dad is the head coach of High Point University that, by the way, made the postseason tournament last year in the Clemson Regional. They went 1-2 in 2024 in the Clemson Regional. They beat Vanderbilt in an elimination game last year in the Clemson Regional. They beat Vandy, and then they lost to Coastal Carolina last year. Not this year, obviously, with Coastal playing, but last year they lost to Coastal Carolina in the Clemson Regional. So, but also Josh Hammond was committed to Wake Forest. So, hey, Dad. Seems like that would be the easiest recruitment in the history of recruitment.
Not a lot of sway, huh?
I mean, the easiest recruitment ever would be, High Point. We just, like, when Josh was a junior, they were playing in the NCAA tournament and beating Vanderbilt. How does he not go, you know what, Dad, I'm going to go play for you?
Just couldn't get in front of him.
Yeah,
couldn't get a meeting. Just couldn't get there.
I mean, he's sleeping with the kid's mom. How can you not get that kid to go to your school, man?
Brother.
It was a joke we told with John Calipari then when he got Brad Calipari. Cal actually told the joke.
That's great.
Calipari said, I'm sleeping with the kid's mom. How could he not go here, too? Like, what are you talking about, Cal? Good God, man.
That made me like Cal a lot more.
Yes.
Shockingly.
Mick Schaefer joins us at 1 o'clock, KSHB 41 sports director, the president of the Bo Peterson fan club, and maybe first-round draft pick in 2026, Bo Peterson winning the home run derby. And there was a home run derby last night, a swing-off in the All-Star game. And Kyle Schwarber in 3 swings had as many home runs as Jazz Chisholm did in his home run derby appearance. So let's talk about the All-Star game over. First of all, Major League Baseball, and I'll be honest, I'm not that big of a hockey fan, okay? So hockey fans would have, those that are hockey and baseball and NFL and NBA fans, Seren, would have to let me know like what the real festivities are around the NHL All-Star break. But so offering my ignorance there of just casually tuning in from time to time, Major League Baseball best All-Star break?
It's amazing, man.
Because the game is, I know it's fun. It's not like the NFL where now you got to put the flags on them, and they still aren't taking it seriously with the flags. They're jogging around out there. The NBA is all about the highlights, and there's no defense and all that stuff.
NFL's the worst. We can agree. Yeah. NFL's
they had
the
to change
bottom.
it. It's like the NBA changing it to 3-on-3. That's what happened with the
which could be kind of fun.
Could be, but even 3-on-3 where they're still just going through the motions.
Sure,
because the flag football they're still just going through the motions. But the All-Star break and the All-Star game, Mizorowski's up there. He's not just jogging to go catch a touchdown and a quick little slant or anything or a first down. He's throwing 102. He ain't messing around. And that's what's great about Major League Baseball is that it is a string of individual matchups. It's just individual matchup after individual matchup after individual matchup. And if, Paul Skeen's out there, Scooball, they're not just going through the motions because, hey, it's fun to be here. They're giving it everything they have. Everybody at bat is giving it everything they have. And it means something. Maybe not to the point that Ray Fosse is going to get trucked by Pete Rose on a throw from Amos Otis, but it certainly means something to these particular players, and you can see how much fun they're having. Now, you're also interviewing Clayton Kershaw, you're interviewing Matt Olson, you're interviewing different guys at Jacob Wilson, and Jack Wilson, so I was right about that. Jack and Jacob Wilson interviewing him. But last night, Mizorowski, the fastballs that he threw, these are all the fastballs that he threw starting with the first one. 101.7, 101.9, 100.4, 100.9, 100.5, 102, 102.3, 101.8, 101.8, 99.3 and 99.2. Bah.
Hey, you don't have to advertise all these other radio stations.
100%, man. And Rich Hill at 810. 81.0, Rich Hill. And then what got everybody looking at each other, I love when they broke away and they showed both dugouts when Mizorowski threw a 98.1 mile an hour slider. And the dugouts were like, what? And then what Carlos Estevez was like, what happened? Looked at him, he was like, 98 slider. The dude was throwing 102.3 and then broke off a 98.1 mile an hour slider. 98 miles an hour, that's a slider, is freaking dumb.
And that's the definition of a bullet slider.
Yeah, we gotta cut that. We gotta have that for just a drop. And that's the definition of a bullet slider. I don't feel like you really defined it much, except for it's a slider and then it just drops off. Okay.
Who was that? That was yesterday. I forgot who
No, it was
said
Brian
that.
Bridges.
Yeah,
It was
Brian Bridges. Yeah, all I remember was, and that's the definition.
Because Cameron Millar throws a 97 mile an hour fastball, and he's developed a bullet slider. And I found out what a bullet slider was, and apparently it's a slider that it's coming in and then just drops off the table. And that's
So a
the
slider
definition of a bullet slider. So these guys are not going through the motions, right? They are trying to. And the ninth inning, like there was emotion in that ninth inning.
Oh yeah,
with Buxton getting on, Bobby driving him in. Quan then,
Jazz grounding out.
Jazz grounding out, yes. Quan then coming through with the 58 mile an hour swinging bunt and scoring Bobby and tying the game up, which got us to the swing off. Because you got the home run derby and then the All-Star game. So, again, not knowing specifically full transparency and ignorance of the NHL All-Star game and how intense that may or may not be, there isn't the physical contact here, except for Smith hitting a Eugenio Suarez, which brought up Stowers. So you got Stowers as a late addition because Suarez had got hit by the pitch in the pinky, which, by the way, could change. It seems like everything's fine with him, but if that was a worst-case scenario there for Suarez, that could change a massive amount at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
For the Diamondbacks.
You let the White Sox in the All-Star game, this is what's going to happen.
Well, not everybody has to have a representative. And by the way, just because you have a representative doesn't mean you have to pitch that guy, Yeah. I felt bad. I shouldn't feel bad because it's the Astros. I thought it was interesting that the only player in the American League that did not get in was Josh Hader. That means the Astros had 4 representatives and not one of them played in the All-Star game. Because Pena was injured, Paredes was a family matter.
Oh yeah,
and Fran Valdez pitched on Sunday, so he was ineligible to throw. And then Josh Hader, and Hader didn't pitch. They had 4 All-Stars, and none of them actually played. I thought because
talking about a hater, huh?
That's right. I thought because Hader was there in the game, that he was there as a representative and the only one that could play. I thought he would get in, but Smith got in, Estevez got in, Bubic got in. I love the Major League Baseball All-Star game, and I know that, ending in a tie and then this one counts and doesn't count. This isn't anywhere near the NBA or the NFL. Like, Skeens versus Acuna Skubal versus Acuna, and Skeens versus Judge is not just, let me throw it over the plate and see what happens. Oh, I'm going to let LeBron drive by and dunk it. Oh, Tyreek beat me on the inside. High five, Tyreek. Good job. I'm going to run over and try to, touch the flag and grab the flag and tackle you there. Not Skeens throwing 99 with 15 inches of run and Judge trying to hit it, 500 feet.
I don't think Bubic was thrilled when he gave up a 3-run shot to Pete Alonso.
Yeah, he didn't just laugh it off.
Although they should have interviewed Salvador Perez during that, just to really
that would have been
really
funny.
Bring it back.
That would have been funny. I am tired of watching Royals All-Stars and Pete Alonso taking the stage. Yeah, it is getting a little tiring of that.
Seeing Estevez do what he did, seeing Bobby Witt Jr., seeing 3 Royals in the field at the same time was really cool. Estevez, this is the most strikeouts I think he's had in any appearances here. That was nice to see.
Bobby driving in Garcia.
I mean, this was just such a cool experience. The game was phenomenal. The tribute to Hank Aaron was one of the coolest things I have ever seen in my life, and that's not even an exaggeration.
This is like 2035. Like, hold on, we have that technology now?
It was mind-blowing. It was like the sphere, but put it on a field. The God Bless America in the 7th inning, I thought was incredible. Man. I mean, this was just so well done. You bring the jerseys back of each team, and this is what you get. You get just this performance. And it was all culminating with, of course, it was Kyle Schwarber. I mean, that guy is going to be a beer league softball merchant until he's 80 years old. It was just, this could not have gone, in my opinion, better. Yeah. This was a nearly perfect all-star performance. Again, if you wanted to say you would have liked to see Bobby over Aranda, which I think we all agree, that was just Boone. Of course, maybe Jazz told him, hey, no Royals because it's going to hurt my feelings. Maybe.
I would have liked to see
I'll
him
smack
pick
the
Michael
bleep
Garcia.
out of you, Boone.
I'd rather Michael Garcia be in there than Aranda. That was odd. When Aranda got a hold of one and it sent it to right center and it landed about 15 feet short of the warning track, I'm like, oh, they're done. He's not even going to hit one. Because if he hit one home run, Pete Alonso's the MVP. Because Alonso would have come up and hit one home run, and then he would have had the 3-run home run, and in the actual game, and Alonso would have been MVP. If they don't score, if the American League doesn't tie it in the top of the 9th, I think Alonso was the MVP. But they tie it, and Aranda doesn't hit a home run, Schwarber gets MVP.
Even the way
Drake, it's Mike.
I snuck in here last.
Oh, did he?
He's on 4 instead of 3. I had 3 on.
He had 3 on.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sure it caught up on your guys' mics.
Yeah,
and stuff.
we heard it in the background.
He didn't even put the guys in the right order. He let your hammer lead
go
off.
first.
No, it was so smart the way Robert set his up, where you have more of the upside. With it, was it Stowers?
Stowers led off. Who had just
like,
found out that he was going to be competing. So you know what? You're going to go first. Sorry about that, but we can have our big sluggers go second and third.
Yeah, I was trying to make sense of why Aranda was up there, and Aranda's had a phenomenal year, but it's not like he was cold off the bench and they said, well, let's get him in the game because we want to get everybody out here. I mean, the selections they made, you weren't going to get a Judge or Ohtani because from the sounds of it, they had already showered and they were good. I mean, Tarek Skubal was on the field and like his collared shirt.
Yeah.
Like they were long removed from the game. And
Ohtani might have already been, I think Ohtani might have already been on a plane.
Yes.
And heading home.
Shocking he didn't choose Jazz Chisholm.
I don't believe he would have been able to defend it after what he did.
By the way,
yesterday.
Jazz and Garcia right next to each other during the swing off.
They must have squashed something because there were a couple of times, even when Joe Torre was out there for the mound visit,
they were out there together.
They seemed chummy, to be honest. So I wonder if they almost made a joke of like, look at us all out here and we're talking to Joe Torre. And
because I thought, because Bobby and Estevez were right next to each other. And then there were like 4 players, Jazz and Michael. I thought that was really one of the more odd things to see last night was the celebration. Like, those 2 guys are hanging out next to each other? That's odd.
You could probably those conversations could have been more positive than anything because this is Michael's first All-Star game. He would have looked like a you-know-what if he would have been talking trash to him at his first All-Star game and after what he did in the Derby. Like, I'm sure that made a little bit of an impact. You can't do that at the Derby and then act all arrogant out there when you are representing the same team.
He said he wasn't trying to hit a home run.
No, he was there for the vibes. Also, though, I do believe, which is so great about the AL versus the NL, there's a lot of pride in representing your league. And when you're on the team, I'm sure it's like, we're all here together representing the same league here and trying to win this game.
I think putting the jerseys on, too. Was it I had to get a screenshot of the quote because I thought it was a great quote. Chris Bubich, Royals, when asked about wearing the team you play for jerseys and not the cartoon jerseys that we saw them wearing in the All-Star and the Home Run Derby and last year's All-Star game. Like the Home Run Derby, those jerseys are cartoon jerseys with the huge AL/NL. Like, what font is that? I'd rather be
font.
I'd
it's
rather
cartoon.
Yes, I know. I'd rather be Comic Sans like the Cleveland Cavs. But here's Chris Bubich. I think it's really special. It's a lot easier to identify, guys, first and foremost. But I think anytime you can wear the city you play for across your chest, it makes you think of the people you're representing back in the city, in the organization, all your teammates. And you think about the journey here because the organization, the teammates, and the city, and the fans, they're all a big part of us being here. It's special to wear that across your chest. I mean, beautiful from Chris Bubich. That's absolutely right. And that's what we were talking about the annoyance last year when there were 3 Royals on the field last year when it was Salvi, Lugo / Reagans, and Bobby. But you couldn't tell them apart because they're all wearing the absurd, Savannah Banana opponent jerseys there. Might as well have been wearing that. So I thought that was cool, too, when you've got the pride in you're wearing your team's jersey as well. Last night was really awesome. By the way, I put out a poll last night after the game was over. Better way to proceed if tied after 9 innings, runner starts at second, or a home run derby. 84% home run derby.
For your All-Star game, yes, it's 100% the home run swing off. But if for the
regular
season game, I would say yes, the home run. It's actually really fun, but the Royals will be really bad at it.
They got Jack Caglione, they got Salvi, they got Bobby. I'll take my chances with They got 2 guys that have competed in the home run derby, and Jack Caglione that could be like the Kyle Schwarber of home run derbies. I'll take the Royals over. Like they're tied in the 9th inning with the Tigers.
Spencer Torkelson,
Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Torres,
Kerry Carpenter,
Javi Baez.
He might strike out.
Yeah, I know. I'll take. Give me the 9th inning against the Tigers and the Twins. Guardians with Ramirez. I'll take my chances with the Royals in the 9th inning.
Ty France.
Oh, damn it. As long as it's not in Kaufman. He's 3 for 3 if it's in Kaufman. We know that. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. ABS system. What do we think? We'll talk about that next. All right, so ABS instituted immediately. We all on board? ABS immediate? Anybody not like what we saw from? I loved it last night. I know Boddicker hated it, so I know that, and he hates the runner at second and all of the reviews and everything. And we get into discussions about the reviews and driving 56 and a 55 and getting a speeding ticket, which is what happened with the Royals on Friday and Saturday, in stolen bases with Tolbert and Bobby Witt.
And one of them, I think he was driving 55 and a 55 and still got a
I agree
ticket.
with that. Tolbert looked like he was out, but it's still a dumb rule.
Yeah.
Bobby, there's no way you could have overturned that.
There's
just no way to overturn that. I loved it. I thought it was fun. And they got, 3 out of 4? 3 out of 4 right. The only one that was wrong was by just a sliver of the top of the baseball by, Stowers? Is he the one that that challenge? I loved it. I saw it. It was quick. Boom. Tap of the head. Took about 10, 12, 13 seconds. And we knew what the result was, just like in tennis. And now we move on and we know if it's 1-0, 0-1, or if it's strike 3.
The one issue I have with it, and it's almost like the sliding rule to an extent, because any part of the ball that hits the zone is a strike. I do think sometimes when we saw one that was just the seam of the ball, and it counts as a strike.
It's a strike.
I would go with the call in the field and that. Like I almost think it has to be a quarter of the ball. It's a personal preference. Again, I get this is a personal preference situation here.
Was Likely's toe on the line or not in week 1 for the Ravens?
No, that's different. I think it's completely different.
Well, that's out of bounds. That's a strike or not a strike.
I think strike zone. I've always liked to an extent. And and if you know me, I'm pretty old school with a lot of. I don't like the nets in baseball. I'm like, pay attention, get off your phone.
No, nets in baseball are.
What, they're like a 6-year-old.
You need the nets in baseball.
They can't react to 105 off the bat.
They don't sit there.
You need the nets in baseball.
6-year-olds now no longer get balls.
Nets in
baseball. They no longer get balls.
Do.
No, now they get thrown. Now they get thrown over. They get hit in the dome by those people.
So they get hit in the dome by the ball being tossed over the net,
Protect
going
your
10
kid.
miles an hour.
Protect your kid. I'm
idiot.
team. No, they're not behind where it used to be. Fine, love it.
No,
why?
Pay attention. Why would you?
When it fouls off straight behind you, you can't pay attention. That's not on you.
Then don't sit there.
No, come on.
That's what you just said.
No,
then don't sit there.
These are now you're.
Protect your
These aren't
chicklets.
real. These aren't real takes by you.
When you slice it over the dugout to right field, that's coming as fast as the one that's going straight back.
Hand down, man down. It's like basketball, baby.
Exactly, right behind home plate too. Get a glove.
Let's get Sterling his vasectomy today.
I'm just saying.
100%. Anyway, so you're old school that you want people to die at the games. Go ahead.
No, but like a little danger is nothing wrong with that. I mean, nothing wrong with a little danger.
It is time for.
I hate runners on second base. Ghost runner is dumb. Come on, what's this, second grade? But
I love the ghost runner. But anyway.
I forgot where it's going now because I'm old school. I forget what we're talking. Oh, ABS. Thank you. I'm so old school. I forget things too. I don't like this. I do like having a little bit of human element when it comes to balls and strikes.
Most of the you got 4 times there's not a human element in the game. That's pretty much human element for every single pitch that's thrown in a game. I mean, you're talking about like 300 pitches or more, and 4 times there's no human element. Now, we'll get to a point to where once they institute the ABS, then you can have more and more challenges.
Because wasn't it the very end? Was it? It
was like Stowers.
Was it Diaz when he struck out?
Oh, yeah.
And it just felt so underwhelming.
I thought it was funny when they had Tatis's face and he was just staring at him. I thought that was great.
I think too, like maybe you don't need the review. I'm of the belief of if you have automated balls and strikes, we'll just give the umpire behind home plate the buzzer where if it hits the zone at any point, buzz, strike, doesn't ball. That way we don't need to stop the game with review. You won't notice any different. You'll see a box there. The players are told beforehand, this is what the box looks like. You can't argue it because if it's in the zone, it'll tell the umpire. So it's not going to be a visual change there. I don't know. I just feel that too many games are decided by awful umpiring. And even when the Royals have been the beneficiary of a call where it's a few feet off the plate, I'm never like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And like I feel good, but like, oh, he screwed him over. Yeah, if this was my team, like, how did you just take the bat out of the hands
of that player. And that's like what it was in the Pirates series when Jack Caglione struck out on 3 pitches. None of them were strikes. We're punishing the player for doing what they tell you to do, spit on those pitches. And umpires, I feel, too many times, at least some of it. And if you want to keep the human element involved, I believe you got to get rid of the union. And then umpires could lose their job if they reach a certain point of blown calls like that. Because players are. If you struggle too much as a player and you don't do your job, you can lose your job there. And I feel umpires get protected in that element. They can be as bad as they want to be.
Or they make you retire in Angel Hernandez, but you don't get fired. You just simply retire.
I love these 2 back-to-back texts I've just received.
Yeah?
That net take is your best one yet. Let the world know. And terrible take on the Nets, man.
Exactly.
I love it.
The second one's right. The first one, I'm glad your parents are listening.
Don't let your kids sit there.
What? I'm just saying, like, it goes too far. The Nets go too far.
No, they don't.
It impedes your viewpoint of the game.
No, it doesn't. Then why do you flinch when the ball comes at you? Oh, because you're used to looking at it.
Are you using
through
the
net.
royal we?
No, you. Why do you flinch? People flinch constantly when the ball is fouled off. Ah! Oh, that's right. There's a net in front of me. I forgot. I guess it was impeding my view. Oh, wait, it wasn't.
Get off your phones.
Get off your high horse. That's what you need to get off on. Kyle Schwarber is the MVP last night. We'll talk about a little bit later on as to how that may have been switched at the last second by Major League Baseball. But a special segment we got coming up next. We'll talk about the Cowboy Up Triathlon. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Coming up an hour from now, we will talk with Joey Hammond. He's the head coach of High Point University, also known as Josh Hammond's dad, who was drafted by the Royals, number 28 overall on Sunday. So we'll talk with him about his son and what kind of player he is. But right now, very pleased to be joined by Jessica Hanchett and Levi Mason, because coming up on July 27th at Smithville Lake is the Matt Mason Memorial Cowboy Up Triathlon and Duathlon. I'm not sure what that second part is. We'll find that out. But Jessica, Levi, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing good, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I know you're nervous, Jessica.
Not at all.
So we will start off with you.
Oh, thank you.
The conversation here. How many years? Now you got to do math. How many years is this for? I asked Chad Corey, and he said, I don't know.
14th annual.
14th annual.
So.
And as it's grown over the years, I mean, what's it been like for you from the origin to now, you know, what it is, 14, to know that this is now 14 years running of this?
Well, it's a very special event. Matt was a big avid triathlete, and so I can't think of anything better to honor him than to do the triathlon in his name. He got all of his friends encouraged to do the sport, and his sons started doing the sport, Levi and his other sons, at the age of 11, so they all do it. So that's been special, but also just to see it grow over the years to what it's become has been pretty powerful.
It is the 14th annual coming up on July 27th, and the Matt Mason Memorial. Matt, fraternity brother of mine, and he passed away in Afghanistan in 2011. And Levi, you were 4 years old when that happened?
Yes, sir.
How much have you heard? Because here's the thing. I think you and I may have heard the same stories. I don't know, because Matt and I didn't cross paths in college. He was gone right before I got there. But I heard about your dad, Matt. How much have you learned about him and found out about him in your 14 years since that happened?
Yeah, for sure a lot. I just learned a lot about his character and how he was always trying to lift people up, call out people, really just try to make people do things they were uncomfortable with, because that was what he was really big at, and that kind of just speaks to me, and I've been doing it since I was little. It's just a cool event, way to get better athletically, and then also challenge yourself in something you don't do every day.
Do you participate in the triathlon?
Yes, sir. I've been doing it since I was in 5th grade. Yeah.
Whoa. Your first triathlon was in 5th grade?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I did it with my stepdad, Tommy. It was definitely a challenge, but you feel very rewarded, and definitely a cool thing after you're done.
What's your goal this year? Time.
I don't know about time. I'm going for the long course this year, so I'm doing a new distance for myself. I've never really done it, so yeah, It's kind of doubling up on everything.
What's the difference with the long course?
Yeah.
So the sprint distance is a 13-mile bike, a 5K run, and a 500-meter swim, and then the long course is just everything times 2. So 1,000-meter swim, 26-mile bike, and then 10K run.
You're a psycho. You know that, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you do this over the course of 2 weeks?
One
day you've got to do 26 miles on a bike,
Yeah.
10K in the running, and 100-meter swim?
Yeah, the bike's definitely the hardest part.
Okay.
Yeah, that 13-mile bike already is tough, and last year did it with all my buddies, and that's always the thing that people talk about. So 26 is going to be tough, but it'll be a fun challenge.
Have you gotten any of your buddies to do the long course with you this year, or they have all like, no, I'm still doing the short course?
Most of them are sticking to the short course.
Okay.
There might be a couple that come up and try to challenge me, but we'll see.
How old were you, or what grade were you in that you first got one of your friends to participate with you?
I think my friend Bobby did it with me when I was in probably 7th grade or 6th grade, maybe. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Well, you mentioned that one of the things that Matt liked to do was make people do things that made them uncomfortable to sort of expand their view or their ability. And you sort of try to do that as well with your friends. Do you play any sports at Rockhurst?
Yeah. I'm a big lacrosse guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of my lacrosse buddies come out. Last year we actually did like a prerequisite, like Bud's thing, like their challenge. One of the upperclassmen challenged me when I was younger, and so kind of getting them to even do that back at the school, and then kind of bringing that culture back to the lacrosse program is pretty cool.
Is there some peer pressure for the lacrosse players that don't participate in this, that, you think you're a lacrosse player, go be a triathlon?
Yeah, 100%. They've been getting hounded with it. At the end of year ceremony, you gave a little talk about it, challenging people. if they can't do the race, and they got to come out and volunteer at least. So yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Visiting with Jessica Hanchett and Levi Mason. The Matt Mason Memorial Cowboy Up Triathlon is coming up on July 27th. Jessica, this will be a question for you. The triathlon and being a triathlete and doing some of those things. My understanding is this was a way that Matt sort of was able to deal with, whether it be PTSD or coming back home from, serving in combat. What was that like from your standpoint to see, him become somebody that was competing in things like this and doing this and getting his friends to say, no, this is what we're going to be doing?
I think it was really powerful. He always had the goal to do an Ironman before he turned 40, and unfortunately he passed before then. But his brother and several of his friends have all went on and done Ironmans in his honor, and so that's pretty special to see. And we're encouraging this year. One of our primary sponsors is Battle Within, who helps deal with PTSD and first responders, and so we feel very blessed to be giving back to them to help pay it forward in his name. So that's one of our big benefactors this year for all the proceeds.
When he told you he was going to do some triathlons, what was the conversation like? What was your response?
Well, training for an Ironman is a part-time job. So when he was on deployment, he brought his bike, and his teammates would talk about how it smelled so bad and was dripping with sweat in the barracks when he was riding. But that was where he found peace and solace and challenge. So
that's really cool. So Battle Within, Ascend Wealth Management, and Live to Ship and are the sponsors. But there's a silent auction that goes along with that. How can people get involved with the silent auction?
Yeah, there's a lot of great prizes: vacation trips, Chiefs and Royals tickets, tires, lots of experiences, even a tattoo.
Oh, nice.
From a fellow Northwest graduate, so you could bid on a tattoo.
What kind of tattoo?
Well,
Anyone you want,
you get
or
a pick, yeah,
I think the tattoo artist, it's just dealer's choice.
Yeah, right.
Dealer's choice.
Cowboy Up. You have to get a Cowboy Up tattoo.
So you're going to pay money for the tattoo artist to tell you what tattoo you're going to get. I feel like that's losing a bet.
I feel like that got to live a little. Jason, you got to live a little.
The low bidder on the tattoo then has to get it. So the high bidder and the low bidder both get a tattoo.
Don't be the lowest bidder.
That's right. If you're going to bid, you better win this thing.
Yes.
So and I see like a Bobby Witt Jr., Patrick Mahomes autographed items and things like that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Kelsey.
you can find all of that on the Cowboy Up website on Facebook, Cowboy Up Facebook page or Instagram. So there's links to bid there. So
I'm assuming Cowboy Up is something he said a lot.
Yes, that was one of his favorite movies.
That was the punchline when he was trying to get people to do it. It was like, you got to come on and Cowboy Up. So
do you say that to your friends?
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little cliche. That's kind of his thing. I kind of gotta get my own speech, but yeah.
Have you thought about wearing cowboy boots while riding the bike?
Definitely not.
What if you get custom? You can so that way it fits in the not the saddle, but the bike pedals.
Yeah, Levi. Cowboy Up, man. Cowboy Up, man. Come on.
That's a little too cowboy.
What about
for
at
me.
least a hat? At least a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I do that. Finish line, little cowboy hat. Represent.
Nice.
There we go.
That's
we will
pretty
have
cool.
those this year at the post-race party. We have a mechanical bull this year and
Whoa.
Chris cakes and everything at the post-race
Okay,
party.
now I
so-
might need to swing on by. I used to operate the mechanical bull at PBR in Philly.
Oh,
Okay,
there you
so
go.
I'm professional over here,
Look,
certified.
Jessica Levi, this is the oddity of working with Sterling, because you never know what is going to pique his attention. Like all of a sudden his antenna is up. It's like, whoa, mechanical bull? Like I know we're talking about cowboying and serving in the military and being a hero and triathlons and swimming and biking and running. You said mechanical bull?
Well, if you want me to be an athlete and do all 13.2 or 1 miles on the bike.
I'm not sure exactly.
Too many miles on the bike, too many meters swimming, too many kilometers running for me.
Right.
But mechanical bull, I'll go 8 seconds.
Let me ask you this: can people participate and not do all three of them? Because I've never done this before. So if it was somebody like myself that was like, you know what, I want to participate, but I'm not doing 13.5 and 500 in one day. I just can't do it. Plus, I may not have time to train for that before July 27th. What can they do?
There are relay teams, so you can go
cool.
and you can find someone to do the swim or the bike or the run for you. Or this year we've added the duathlon, which eliminates the swim portion, which some people have struggled with. So now you can just run bike run instead of swim at all. So that's always an option too.
What's the do you get to choose what order you go in, or is that chosen for you?
If you're doing the duathlon,
Either one.
you do have to, if you're doing a relay, you do swim, bike, and then run.
Okay.
And the duathlon is run, bike, run.
So with the just regular triathlon, if you're competing, do you get to choose, or it's so? What's
No.
the order with that?
It's the same. It's the you swim first
Okay, I
because
was
we
gonna
want to
say-
make sure everybody's out
I
of
was
the
going to say
water.
yeah, that was my question of like,
Yeah.
do I swim last? Because that
No.
doesn't seem like that's the best
No.
idea for me. I need to swim, get that out of the way,
Yeah.
and then I probably would choose running.
But then you bike.
But then I would choose biking because at least maybe I can rest from time to if there's a downhill I can rest from time to time. I don't know. I'm not Lance Armstrong on the uphill during.
How long's a
sprints.
meter? You said 500 meters?
A meter's
You
like
just-
a yard.
You just ask how long a meter is, dude.
Well, we live in America.
So like think of the pool, a 25-meter pool or a 50-meter,
Yeah, that seems like a lot of swimming. I feel like I would
Yeah.
I couldn't do. I do the duathlon.
Yeah, it's like think of Usain Bolt running the 100-meter, but do it 5 times. That's what a. That's
Oh,
what a
brother,
500
I'm
meter
out. Is that so? Do you do it in a lake?
Yeah.
at Smithville Lake.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lap around the track is 400. So if you go to a track that's around like a football field, there's 400.
Oh,
you
brother,
would do
no.
that and then another 100. That's how far you would have to swim.
I feel like that is
Oh, you could do it.
floaties, maybe.
He's doing the 1,000.
Yeah, look at him.
I know.
Look at those pythons. You kidding me?
He's in pretty good shape. He's a lacrosse player at Rockhurst. Now, I will
I'm
say
a radio host, 31 years old. You think we're in different levels right here.
Yeah, that's true. But I think you look in the mirror and you see yourself as Levi.
Yes.
When you look in the mirror, you see your body physique and ability to
Correct.
play what Levi is.
Correct.
Yeah. Levi looks in the mirror and sees himself. You look in the mirror and you see him.
Yeah.
Right. Just so we're all aware of this. Levi, I will let you know, like, I didn't know you went to Rockhurst, or it might have been a different story. I don't know that I would have let you on had I known you went to Rockhurst, man.
Yeah.
I find this out on the air. I feel like there's a little bait and switch here with the Rockhurst thing, man.
No, it's a pretty special place. There's
Yeah.
not many people or not many schools like it. So yeah.
Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm kidding, obviously. Jessica, as you look at Levi, how much do you see Matt in maybe even personality and things that he does, even though unfortunately not growing up around him? But do you see Matt in Levi?
I do. He's got a lot of his determination. He's a 5 o'clock riser, workout, kind of an intrinsically motivated person like his dad, but also likes to have a good time, just like his dad. So,
Well-
but him and his other brothers each have some pretty special traits that remind me of him every day. So,
Do not lose the early riser. I've talked to my son is an early riser. He wakes up and he immediately is up. My brother's the same way. I don't know how people do that. And I've told my son, do not lose that, because you get up early like that, you're going to be successful in life. Is that just something you've always done? Jessica, was he always a guy that was wake up in the morning and is like, go back to sleep, please, or go do something else? I'm trying to sleep. That's the conversation we have with my son. Like, dude, it's 5:45 and it's Saturday morning. Go back to sleep, dude, please.
yeah. I think he has, especially since middle school, he's just been motivated with sports and such. So.
That's pretty awesome. Levi Mason is our guest here. Jessica Hanchett, our guest. The Matt Mason Memorial Cowboy Up Triathlon coming up. How many tours did Matt have?
He served 12 years, so
12
he had
years.
quite a few. He was actually injured in Afghanistan and in Iraq, in Fallujah, and recovered and went on and tried out for the best of the best and made that. And so he
After being injured?
he had rehab and all of that, and he went on to succeed. So
Yeah. If this is too personal, tell me that you're not going to answer it. But what was that, I guess, conversation like in the house when he recovers and does all that and says, I'm going to go back?
Well, it was actually in the hospital because when
Okay.
he was injured, he had to re-enlist while he was in the hospital to make the decision when he was in Germany. And so it was a tough decision, but I knew that if he did anything else, it just wasn't him. So I kind of thought the worst was behind us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Jessica Hanchett is our guest. Levi Mason. Matt Mason Memorial Cowboy Up Triathlon coming up. When they approached you with this idea, What was your thought as to, okay, how do we keep his memory alive? How do we keep, serving and doing some of the things that Matt would want his friends to do? What was that like in 14 years ago?
Well, it was very fitting. He was a pretty humble person, so he's not the type of person that would have wanted statues and monuments and all the things. But this is something that I think he's looking down every race day at all the people who wouldn't have been triathletes otherwise that are crossing the finish line, because there's people that is their first triathlon, and his picture is big and bright at the end of the race, and every 10th of a mile that he was in an accident with 30 other service members, so every 10th of a mile on the 5K is each of one of the service members, so it's a pretty powerful and patriotic
pretty
race.
awesome.
They skydive in the morning with the American flag and cannons, and so it's a really patriotic race, and so it's pretty special.
When you met him at Northwest, did you know this was going to be a guy that was going to be serving in the military and be a career military man?
I know that he wanted to do that before college, and
Okay.
he went to college, and then after he tried to do the corporate America thing, and that wasn't his
Yeah.
thing. So he decided to join after.
He found his path.
Mhm.
Levi, what do you think your path is going to be? You're a lacrosse player at Rockhurst. What's in the future for you?
I don't know. My dream is to go to the Naval Academy. I don't, I just think that that's always been a cool path. I know I've always kind of wanted to be in the service in some aspect. And I think I also want to, pursue a college education too. So I think
Yeah.
that's the best way to complete both those. Yeah.
What do you want to do in the Navy?
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
I still got a lot of thinking about that to do.
Yeah.
I just know that I feel
The Navy is the academy's tough to get in.
yeah. It's
But I would guess, and I'm not sure how it works, but I would guess with your dad being Matt, I would hope some strings would be pulled to have you get into the Naval Academy.
yeah, maybe nothing's given. I want to get it myself, but yeah.
What's
for
your
sure.
GPA?
For sure. I got a 3.8 GPA.
Yeah,
yeah.
well, whatever.
Better
that's
than
fine.
mine.
Yeah, 3.8 GPA. It's cool. My GPA also ended in an 8. So, and just look. Don't take your life like this, Levi. But B's and C's get degrees. That's what I was told at Northwest. That was one of the things we were taught in the fraternity. It was odd. I'm not sure. No, we had to keep a certain GPA. Okay, that's fine. Above passing. That was our certain GPA we had to keep. So Jessica Hanchett and Levi Mason, our guest. Again, the Matt Mason Memorial Cowboy Up Triathlon Duathlon, the most patriotic event and triathlon that you'll probably see anywhere in America. Again, it's cowboyuptriathlon.com. Is that where people can go?
Yes.
And then if they want to volunteer or just donate, is this where they can go as well? What do they need to do to be able to do that?
Yes, all of that is on the website.
Okay.
The auction is on the Facebook page. But
Okay. Charities, scholarships supported as well for different colleges. How do people find out about the scholarships that may be supported with some of this?
so there's a Northwest Missouri State, someone in the Greek system
Nice.
is awarded that, and she'll actually be at the award ceremony this year, the recipient. For
What sorority
that.
do you know?
She's a Sigma.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and
Yeah,
she's
that's
actually
fine.
from Kearney, Matt's hometown, which
Okay.
is special. And then, excuse me, he went to Maple Woods for a while
wow.
before he went to Northwest. So the whole Maple Woods baseball team comes out and volunteers, and the coach is really active. And we do a scholarship at Maple Woods in his honor as well.
We've got to get Albert Pujols there now, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean-
And Matt's number's retired right next to his. Out
Really?
There.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's
isn't that
pretty.
cool?
That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome. You're so Levi. You got some bragging rights there. You're like, oh yeah, my dad's number's retired right next to Albert Pujols. He played for the Cardinals. Well, I mean, it's retired next to. Was baseball something that you thought you were going to play with your dad being clearly that good?
Baseball I played for a little bit. It just kind of got too slow, and that's where lacrosse kind of took over.
The
Yeah,
act.
one of
You
my
needed the
buddies-
action.
Yeah. I think my dad definitely would have liked it if he would have grown up on the East Coast or something.
Yeah.
So
He probably would have been a lacrosse player.
yeah, I think so.
No wonder you want to go into the Naval Academy and the action.
Yeah.
That's baseball's too slow for me. The corporate world probably for your dad a little too slow for him as well. That's awesome. But an absolute hero, Matt Mason, the Cowboy Up Triathlon, Levi Mason, Jessica Hanchett here with us. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. It's awesome. I wish I would have gotten to know Matt a little more than just in passing. because I've heard nothing but amazing things about him. And also some other things about Matt in college too. So, Levi, do be a lot like your dad in a lot of different ways, but maybe some other things I don't know. Jessica, you could speak to that of maybe honing in some other areas of life in college. But I would guess at the Naval Academy that would be a little tough to do. But best of luck to you. I really appreciate you stopping by, Levi. And the Naval Academy, and I can't imagine them turning down somebody like yourself that's dreamed of doing this and worked for it, and following in the legacy of your dad. I didn't even ask, but was your dad a Navy man? Was it Air Force, Army? What part of the military?
Yeah, he was a Navy SEAL. Yeah.
Of course he was. Yeah, that's right, a Navy. And as you said, he got. So did he become a SEAL after he was injured?
No,
Okay.
he went to Northwest and then became a SEAL and was injured in
Okay,
Iraq.
because you had said after the injury, sort of going back and rehabbing and training again to be part of the best of the best.
Yeah, within the SEALs.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
so having to re-earn that Navy SEAL thing. So does he never ring a bell if he's a SEAL? Any bells around the house? Nothing like that?
No.
No. Okay, just making
Yeah.
sure.
And Levi has, we had a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and I was 6 months pregnant when he was killed. So we do have two other brothers that aren't here as well that are pretty
Yeah.
special. So not
That's,
to miss them.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So Honor and Bo.
No, Honor and Logan.
Honor and Logan.
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay? Honor and Logan and Levi.
Yeah.
Honor, Logan, and Levi. I love the name Honor.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. When that was if we didn't know if it was going to be a boy or a girl, so when I had him, I said, "Well, your name's a command for all the land, right? Honor Matthew Mason." So
That's pretty much. That's pretty. Levi looks. You look
Grimace is-
embarrassed by this.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Honor too, but
Yes. You look embarrassed by this, Levi. Why?
I'm not embarrassed. I'll let her. She can do her thing.
Jessica Hanchett and Levi Mason, the Matt Mason Memorial Cowboy Up Triathlon. Thank you guys for stopping by. Really appreciate it. And if anybody wants to get involved, cowboyuptriathlon.com. Jessica, thank you. Levi, best of luck the rest of your time at Rockhurst. And lacrosse is coming up as a senior?
Yeah.
Okay, when's the lacrosse season? Pardon my ignorance.
Spring season. Yeah.
Okay, spring season. We'll have to come out and watch a game. Have to come out and watch a lacrosse game with Rockhurst. Sterling, you in?
I'm in.
They're going to have a mechanical bull at the lacrosse game. So
Oh,
now
I'm
you're
in. Yeah, I'm
okay?
in.
Just
I'm
so you
down.
know.
Down.
Okay, now you're in.
Down.
Yes, thank you. It is cowboyuptriathlon.com to go check that out. We'll take a time out. We'll come back, continue rolling more zone right after this. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Again, go check out the cowboyuptriathlon.com, and you can see how if you want to volunteer, donate, race, participate in the auction, it's all there. Registration is about to close, so go check that out if you want to be involved in that. What's up? What are you doing?
I think that's her purse. I think she left her purse.
Unless it's Keystone's.
Keystone, is that your purse?
Keystone.
It is not Keystone's
Okay.
purse. Run her down like it's a triathlon.
Yes, that's right.
Swim there.
Yes. I need you to ride a bike to her. There you go.
Swim there.
Speed walk. 1 foot does have to be on the ground at all times. Okay? Speed walk. There you go. Nope, you're not doing the correct form.
I think
You
it's
gotta
going the wrong way,
You got to have the
too.
correct form to where you're like sort of shimmying, like you almost have to go to the bathroom, while you're doing it, because that's the correct form. Look like you're going to the bathroom to speed walk. But cowboyuptriathlon.com and Battle Within, the main charity that they support, which goes to help those that are suffering from PTSD and those that have served and are now back home, living with, living their lives post-military combat service, and a number of them dealing with the repercussions, the fallout, and things like that. So Battle Within, the main charity there. And some pretty cool silent auction items, too. Vacation trips, tickets to the Chiefs and Royals, Bobby Witt, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, Isaiah Pacheco, autographed items. Those are, that's pretty awesome. Like, you're getting some pretty decent stuff there for the Cowboy Up Triathlon.
And I was talking with you in the
silent
break. I would be something that I'd be interested in trying to do next year. This year I'm in Indiana, Southern Indiana Family Reunion, but as long as it doesn't match up with that exact
We can do relay.
time, that'd be fun, yeah.
Maybe start with the relay. Maybe we do one of the three. Me, you, we find somebody else. Drake's just volunteered. He raised his hand. He's in.
Oh, nice, Drake. Thank you.
So me, you, Drake. We
Are
do
you
a relay.
swimming?
That's my least strong part.
Okay.
We should all pick our least strong parts.
And do that. Biking for me. Well, and running. Well, swimming also.
all three of those I
all
do not
three of those
thrive
I
at.
struggle at, really. Walking, I could do the walking thing. Can it be a walk run? Nail that.
I can check people in.
Right. You know what? The organizational leader and making sure things are running smoothly, that's the triathlon part that Drake will kill. That's what he'll take part in. That's what he will win that part of it. The triathlon of making sure everybody has their bleep together. And then somebody else will swim, somebody else will run, somebody else will bike, and Drake will make sure that everybody knows what they're doing.
I remember one time I was at an event like this, and the PA guy announced that the people in the lead, one of them was from Peculiar, Missouri, and the other one was from Normal, Illinois. And I just laughed and laughed and laughed.
Peculiar and
no one
normal.
else thought it was funny.
That's amazing.
No, that's great. That's
How
that's-
someone does not find that funny is beyond me.
It's the Larry Comas horse race that down the stretch where it was My Wife Knows Everything, My Wife Doesn't Know. They were two different horses. One was named My Wife Knows Everything. One was named My Wife Doesn't Know. And they were neck and neck. And Larry Comas is called My Wife Doesn't Know. And now My Wife Knows Everything is now taking the lead. And, of course, My Wife Doesn't Know. It's a great call. So, yes, normal and peculiar. That's great. 913-912-4810 is the text line to be a part of the show. By the way, we were going to bring this up with in the first hour. We never got around to it. With the All-Star game. Did you see this little controversy about the MVP award? Have you heard about the controversy about the MVP award?
No, I've
with
not.
Kyle Schwarber getting the MVP last night.
I have not.
Okay, so Kyle Schwarber got the MVP by a vote of 3-2.
Correct.
And there were a couple of different, partners, the way that it was described, that did not get their vote in. So, it could have been 5-2.
Sure.
Could have been 4-3, somebody winning. Could have been 4-3, him winning. But the controversy that's out there, especially when you have some people placing some bets on things, Pete Alonso was plus 3,500. Schwarber was plus 4,000 to win the MVP. So July 19th, 2022, when Major League Baseball introduced that this home run derby was going to be a swing-off if there was a tie in the All-Star game. So the 2022 All-Star game was going to be the first one. So we have had 3 All-Star games. Now the fourth one, since this has been implemented, before we had one that actually went to a swing-off. So from July 19th at MLB.com, the story written about it, until July 15th, 2025, so yesterday, That's almost, 4 years to the day, or 3 years to the day. This is what was written at MLB.com about the official rules of the swing-off. If all of this indeed comes to pass, the game in the record books would be considered a tie with a notation that one league defeated the other in a home run swing-off, and there would be no winning or losing pitcher. Additionally, the All-Star Game MVP award would be based on what happened in the 9-inning game. This morning, as of July 16th, 2025, the edited story says, the team that wins the swing-off is declared the winner by 1 run, and there is no winning or losing pitcher.
Took out the MVP part.
And then it moves on to the next part. It just erased the All-Star Game MVP award based on what happened in the 9-inning game. Erased after Schwarber was given the MVP last night based on what happened in the swing-off. They specifically stated the swing-off is not going to have anything to do with the MVP. And so there are Mets fans that are upset because they thought Pete Alonso was going to be the MVP, and I think he got the 2 votes. So I think 3-2, Schwarber to Pete Alonso. But also, you know what? Alonso would have been the MVP if Diaz didn't blow the save. That's what's kind of funny. Is the Mets closer blew the save.
Wow, yeah, you're right. So blame Edwin Diaz.
And Alonso did not get the MVP. But Schwarber did not get a hit in the game and was the MVP. And he hit 3 home runs in the game. So did
first position player to win All-Star Game MVP without recording a hit.
Yeah, and Brent Rooker had 3 home runs as well.
No, he had a home run for 3 runs.
He hit one in the actual game. But this is not,
I guess you're right. He did have 3 home runs.
Yeah. Schwarber had 3. Rooker had 3.
You know what?
And Alonso only had 1.
You know what? You're right. Brent Rooker should be the MVP in a losing effort.
He would have been. I think he would have been the MVP if Arozarena and Aranda, let's say Arozarena gets 1 more and Aranda gets 2, and the AL wins, I think Rooker's the MVP.
I would have preferred to see Joe Randa versus Aranda in that specific instance.
I would totally agree with you on that. So
I always like looking at the box score of the All-Star game because it's a mess.
yes.
Oh, it's so wrong.
And I enjoy it. But then I was looking at it this morning, and it just says batter 1, batter 2, batter 3.
in the home run?
Just look at the box score. If you look at the hitters, you get down where they start having the swing off, and it'll just say, it doesn't say the player's name, it just says batter 0-1, batter 0-2, batter 0-3.
They also messed up on ESPN where apparently Jacob Wilson had 4 at-bats.
So he got the RBI?
Yeah,
so he got 2 RBIs?
It gave it actually breaks down to Jacob Wilson was 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Bobby Witt Jr. 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs. So somehow, if you look at the box score on ESPN, there were 8 runs scored by the AL, according to the American League, according to the ESPN box score, because
Yeah, the
they didn't fix it.
MLB.com has it correct. 1 for 2 with a run scored and 2 RBIs for Bobby Witt. Rooker 1 for 1 with a run scored and 3 RBIs and that home run. Aranda did score a run on that home run, so Aranda did go 1 for 1 and had the hit off Mizorowski.
Yeah.
So he was, and he had a walk as well. So his 2 plate appearances he got on both times, and then so he went 1 for 4 in the game. Aranda did. He went 1 for 4 in the game, 0 for 3 after the game was over. But that was circulating, and I thought that was pretty fascinating as to why they just quickly took that out. That the MVP award goes to what happened based in the 9-inning game specifically. And again, I still believe that, 1, if the National League wins in regulation, Alonso's going to be your MVP. And if Aranda had hit 1 home run, I think Alonso would have been your MVP. Because Alonso then would have had the walk-off home run in the home run swing-off. Home run derby swing. Then Alonso would have that. He would have been the MVP. I don't ever place money on the MVP because that's such a crapshoot. You're just, who knows? How often is the MVP a starter? And then you don't know who's going to come in the game, and then who's going to get a hit, and who's going to come through at certain things. Like, I do not go that route. I went the route of over 1.5 strikeouts for Skubal and Skeens, and then over 3.5 runs for the American League. I went and parlayed that one. That was nice. That one worked out for me. Some of the other ones didn't, but if you'd had money on Alonso, you'd have certainly an argument there with that. So 913-912-4810. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. There were some texts that came in earlier about the Adam Frazier trade that I wanted to get into. I also want to talk about Trent McDuffie. The Chiefs have cleared almost $11 million of cap space by Trey Smith's new contract, which means they are about $20 million under the cap right now. You don't need $20 million to go into the season to keep the lights on. That's usually around $4 or $5 million that Brett Veach likes to have as the season starts, as we've talked about it, to keep the lights on. Guys that are going to be signed, guys coming up from the practice squad, all of that stuff that goes to the salary cap. We'll talk about that. Trey Smith's numbers, Shamar Stewart, what may happen with him and the Bengals, that there is at least a possibility of him playing for Texas A&M this year. We'll talk about that as well. More Zone coming up next. All right, hanging out here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Text comes in and says, Drake equals logistics. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Text says at 913-912-4810, things Sterling apparently learned this week. Outpatient surgery, child safety, and the metric system. So there you go. That is true. In the last 24 hours, you've learned all about that.
I've learned a lot.
Yes.
Learn funniest best right in there.
Too much. Where's the vasectomy part go in?
How long is a
the
meter? The vasectomy. How long is a meter?
Well, I mean, we don't really use we use miles.
Yeah.
Like 39
Yards.
over 39 inches.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Yeah,
Nate
nobody
Bargatze.
knows. I mean-
Nate Bargatze, Saturday Night Live. I dream of a day of freedom, men, where we will measure things in yards and feet and inches, and the rest of the country or the world will do it differently.
Is it
It'll be the
Burma?
metric system.
Who doesn't use?
And why, sir? Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
What is it? Is it Burma?
I don't know. I would learn that then.
Yeah, it was. It was United States, Myanmar, formerly known as Burma,
Oh,
and
Myanmar, yeah.
Liberia.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got 2 out of 3. That's pretty good.
You know what? That's not bad.
I always forget Liberia.
Shamar Stewart, the final first-round draft pick that has not signed, with Jahdae Barron and the Broncos coming to an agreement before training camp. And so Shamar Stewart now, the lone first-round draft pick, not signed, along with, a bunch of second-rounders, pretty much every of the second-rounders, 30 of them. Shamar Stewart is back at Texas A&M College Station working out. Now, there was at least one person that has said Shamar Stewart is exploring the possibility of returning to Texas A&M to play this year. Now, negotiating tactics, the stuff going on with the Bengals, how serious would he be to return and play at Texas A&M? The Bengals would still own his draft rights for next year. So even if he were to return and play college ball, it wouldn't be like, okay, now you can just go into the draft next year again, at least as far as I understand it and some of the people breaking this down.
I thought I understood it the opposite way. I understood it as if he doesn't sign, if he waits an entire year, then he is now free to enter the draft again. That's how I understood it. Maybe I could be wrong, though. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again.
What I read this morning was the Bengals, would still be able to retain his draft rights for next year. But this very well could just simply be a negotiating ploy. He also could just be down at Texas A&M working and staying in shape, which is probably what the real case is. But the report said a guy who has had some good A&M stuff in the past, he said, Shamar might end up back here. He's been at College Station. He's been fully involved in workouts. He could try to come back and play again this season and go into the draft again next year. Which, again, the way I would understand it is that, in fact, here we go. Let's read it this way. While the relevant language of the collective bargaining agreement isn't entirely clear, it seems reasonable that the Bengals would hold his rights as the 17th overall pick in the draft. If Stewart gets paid to play football this year in college and falls back to the Bengals in his same slot next year, then he would have made plenty of money while still getting the money he would have gotten under his rookie deal in 2024. Again, that's sort of confusing. This is from Mike Florio and his report on the language. As he said, it's not quite clear on that point because you would never think about going to college for another year as opposed to not signing your rookie deal as a first rounder until NIL. Until now, Shamar Stewart saying, hey, I'm going to transfer from A&M and now I'm a free agent. And I can get $4 or $5 million and play a year. Somebody is going to, bring me in to be a defensive end for $4 million. They're going to use a lot of their money that could be for the revenue sharing. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think he's going to go back to A&M or go back to college for a year. Again, I think this is more negotiating ploy. I also think this could simply be yeah, he's back at A&M working out and staying in shape because he's not working out at the Bengals facility because he left minicamp and OTAs early, and he hasn't been around them. And the Bengals are not budging on their language in the contract, and he's not signing the contract with the language in there about forfeiting the guaranteed dollars based on generic terms that the Bengals can interpret certain ways. But NIL does add a wrinkle to this in that he could earn a lot of money this year by returning to college and not signing his first-round deal.
So I've seen this two different ways now. NBC with Florio has said that the Bengals would control his rights, right?
Yeah.
I've seen on CBS, if he doesn't sign his contract and doesn't play football in 2025, he could re-enter the NFL draft in 2026, and any team could draft him except for the Bengals. So we have now
That's
seen...
That's the way that I remembered it being. Is
me
like,
as well. So I don't know if Florio's wrong. I don't know if he's correct. But the thing I have seen on NBC seems to be by itself in that the Bengals would control his rights. Every other one I have seen, every other website, CBS, all of this has said, and my understanding as well, was that if he does not sign this contract and he were to not play in the NFL this year, that he could re-enter the draft in 2026 and any team could then draft him. That's my understanding. That's what CBS is saying, although NBC has given us a different viewpoint.
Yeah.
So, sounds like there's a lot of confusion regarding this, but either way, it makes the Bengals look bad. Whether you think the Bengals are right or wrong, it makes them look bad.
Right. It says, and even at Yahoo, it says, if they don't reach a deal before next year's draft, Stewart would become eligible to enter his name in the 2026 draft. Any team but the Bengals would be eligible to select him in that scenario.
So only NBC then is reporting the opposite.
Yeah, and Mike Florio saying it's the language is a little bit vague on that. So, those specific actual contracts or the language in that. John Breach wrote at CBS what you're talking about. Yahoo wrote, Jason Owens, staff writer for Yahoo covering the NFL, also wrote that this would be a re-entering in the NFL draft. But then Mike Florio saying, as I understand the CBA, either way, this thing doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon unless the Bengals decide that they are going to...
Here we go. This is why.
Okay.
This is the difference right here. If Stewart went back and played at A&M or played in college, then the Bengals would retain his rights. If he does not play
at all,
then he could re-enter in 2026 and any team could draft him. So there's the caveat. There's now we found the missing link. If he does not play football at all, he can re-enter the draft and any team can draft him. Besides the Bengals, if he plays in college, the Bengals hold his rights for the next 3 years.
So would he then return, make $4 or $5 million, and then sign with the Bengals next year, or just work out the contract and deal with the guaranteed dollar language in that in his first round deal and not go back to college and just sign his first round deal?
He also can't head to the CFL because then the Bengals still retain his rights as well.
Joey Hammond next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, heading up until 2 o'clock. We'll talk with Mick Schaefer coming up an hour from now. We talked, obviously, on Monday, a lot of the Major League Baseball draft in the first round for the Kansas City Royals, who they selected on Sunday, and then the rest of the draft picks on into Monday, and talking about that, breaking those things down, and looking to the future as well. Josh Hammond, one of the draft picks that the Royals had in the first round, 28th overall selection. Joining us now is the head coach at High Point University, Joey Hammond. Also now, I guess, Joey, known as Josh's dad, moving forward?
No doubt. He reminds me daily now.
How long? He was always like, hey, you're Joey's son. Oh, you're Coach Hammond's son. Now it's you're Josh's dad.
Yeah, if I'm even mentioned, no doubt.
Well, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. If you could take us into, your guys' draft party and what was going on, what was Sunday like for you guys?
Well, I mean, obviously, it was a surreal moment. What a special night. We had a great group of just family and friends, and just being there to support Josh, anyone that kind of made an impact in his life, and so. Knew it was going to be, just a special night at the end. I certainly didn't know how it was going to end out, but be lying if I didn't tell you it was stressful and there were some nerves and emotions. But ultimately, our faith is really strong in our family, and we knew that in the end it would be in the place that he's supposed to be. And pretty early in the process, we identified Kansas City and all the folks involved. With the Royals were certainly a place and a destination that we felt. His mother and I felt was going to be a great fit for him.
Was the, early on in the process, what was the connection like with the Royals? Were they one of the teams that showed a lot of interest in Josh's game and drafting him with one of those 2 first-round picks?
Yeah, absolutely. From the start. And again, I think with all the players, kind of considered there, I think there was tons of traffic with all the clubs, but there's no denying, and in retrospect, it's really easy to see now, a gigantic touch of class with the Royals from the start. I know we had, a multiple national cross-checker in our house with the area. Scout Blake Newsom was fantastic the entire time. Keith Conley, the cross-checker. We've got Christmas cards. It's probably the only organization I think we got Christmas cards handwritten, sent to us, and so just classy. I think they recognize that from the start, and certainly makes us feel warm and fuzzy.
The baseball draft is different than the NFL draft or NBA, to where as the draft goes on, there's conversations that are taking place behind the scenes. Like in the NFL draft, you get the phone call from the GM or the head coach that says, "Hey, we're going to go ahead and draft you right here," and then they talk to some of the other people. Were there conversations taking place with the Royals throughout the day, leading up to what was 23 and then 28?
Yeah, there were, and with a number of clubs to that point. But the Royals made a point early in the day that it was a target. He was a target, and they wanted to be communicated with before we were to sign off on anything other than Kansas City, which was great, obviously. And then, of course, as the day went on, and of course, I'm sure you recognize that draft seemed to be flipped on its head pretty early, and
Yes.
and with that, it was kind of crazy and a little chaotic. And then there were some other clubs that were in the mix there at the end that ultimately, in a weird way, the decision ultimately kind of got it back on us to kind of decide. But it was not a very difficult decision in the very end. It shifted from we don't get the pick to ultimately we get to choose between a couple clubs, which was refreshing to be able to do that.
Are you able to let us know what other clubs that were interested in Josh and getting him signed?
Well, I think there were a few I know specifically heard from. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for it, but either way, it is what it is. I know the Mariners had expressed some interest, and there was a long laundry list of some other clubs that he was in the mix with and that we had been communicating through the day. But that was the one that was certainly making the biggest push.
Yeah, that's interesting because, again, you can then look at it and go, what's best for Josh? And, we can let the Royals know, hey, the Mariners are taking us, or let the Mariners know, what the Royals are taking us because it's in the best interest. What did you and you talked about that connection and being in contact with them. Is that what sets it apart with the Royals? Is this is the organization we want to be with because it's clearly the organization that has shown us that they want Josh in their system.
Yeah, in the end, that played a big role, no doubt. We built relationships with a number of clubs, and there was connections. I'm friends with Alex Zumwalt. I've known him kind of from this area, and so there's connections. The Merrifields are really close family friends as well. So there's connections with the Royals altogether. But there were amongst, in this baseball world, it's a small circle, and so there's connections in a lot of different clubs. But I think at the end, it was philosophically the fits, the language they speak from, we dive into the weeds with his development as a player, and we have some of those bigger conversations. And so, his job was to try to identify, and I would help him with it, the places that he felt were going to speak his language and develop him to be the best version of himself. And there were a number of clubs that maybe could fit that mold. There were a lot that honestly did not fit that mold and were not going to be in consideration. But in the end, the separating factor, besides just our faith in what we felt was right in our hearts, was certainly the connection and the desire. We felt like the Royals wanted him more than anyone else, and that was really, really important to Josh.
Head coach of High Point University, Joey Hammond, is our guest. Josh Hammond's father. Josh Hammond, 28th overall selection by the Kansas City Royals at a Wesleyan Christian Academy. With that connection that you had with a couple of different people in the Royals, from afar, were you guys, Royals fans, or have a better idea maybe about the Royals organization than, maybe anybody in general that would be living in North Carolina?
Maybe indirectly, just because of the quality of the people that they are, and knowing that if they're associated with the organization, then they've got some things right off the top. But I think, any further than that would probably be a stretch to say it. To know much of the organization outside of just a couple of the personal connections. Visiting with
Joey Hammond, what kind of player is your son? What kind of player is Josh Hammond?
That's a good question. Obviously, he's a competitor. Everybody talks about that from the start. Like, he's going to compete to the degree in which I've seen a lot of players, and I know a lot of players. The best word I can just kind of describe is he's different. And I mean that in a positive way. His competitiveness is different. His athleticism, his will to win. But probably the thing that I'm maybe most proud of, because, look, he's got skills, and he's going to hit the ball really far, and he can obviously throw, and he's a winner, and he's a competitor and all those things. But the thing that's really refreshing to me is he's a teammate, and we use that word probably with a different connotation than a lot of other people do, and that's almost the highest of praises. He's a teammate. He wants to be a part of winning teams. He wins wherever he goes, and it's not because of him necessarily. It's because he creates a team, and it's kind of got that alpha mentality where people gravitate to him, and he recognizes that, embraces that. And I just think he's an ultimate competitor and an ultimate teammate.
When did you see that he was, in your mind, different than some of the other kids?
It's funny. We were reminded of this story, and we shared it here recently. My wife and I talk about it a lot. He was 8 years old. This is crazy. And like coach pitch. And we're just out there. And we have an older son who's kind of been through that as well. And he's playing with me at High Point right now. So we've been through that run at that age, and we know that at 8 years old, when the ball gets hit, all 11 or 12 defenders run after the ball and just grab it and put their hand up in the air or throw it back to the pitcher, and they move on to the next hitter. Well, Josh was playing shortstop coincidentally, and I remember a ball specifically on a random day, and it gets hit in the hole, in the 6th hole, and Josh turns to his right and makes a sliding catch and gets up in one motion and throws to second base. Now, I don't know what was more surprising, the fact that he caught it, slid, or made a good throw, or the fact that the other random kid was actually standing at second base and ready for the ball. But they made a force out, and even if you didn't know anything about baseball, you looked around and well, something that doesn't. I hadn't seen that before. And then of course my wife and I made eye contact, all right, man. Again, that's different. There might be something here. That's kind of crazy.
I mean, as someone who coaches a 9-year-old team, I can tell you that in kid pitch, and we did kid pitch at 8 years old, and boy, those middle infielders to make sure it takes a while. So the fact that he made the play, but I don't know who the second baseman was, but I'd like to know what he's up to as well if he knew to be there.
I'm a poor recruiter because I don't remember him, and he's not on my team at High Point. That was a poor job by me.
Joey Hammond is our guest. Well, I mean, you had an in on one of the best high school players in the country, and he went to Wake Forest. What's that about? How do you not land, your son to go to High Point?
Listen, I'm going to take some credit for that because I was at Wake Forest as an assistant coach for 7 years, and we technically got him committed to Wake Forest literally as I was transitioning to High Point. So I'm going to take a little bit of credit for making Coach
great.
Walter and Coach Salento's job really easy to land this guy. But in the reality is he would continue to remind me of all the times I was at High Point, and I would try to mess with him about the fact that it's not going to happen, Dad. It's a good try, but it's not going to happen. And so obviously when my older son on our team, we've played Wake Forest twice every year, and we've happened to beat them a couple times. Those nights in our house have been really fun, ribbing Josh for that.
I mean, even last year when you're in the tournament and you're playing in the Clemson Regional and you win a game, even at that point, you're like, Josh, I mean, come on, man. You can do big things here,
We tried to convince him. Some of our players at the High Point team, again, he's around our field all the time. He works out and trains with our guys. They love him. He loves them. A lot of our players at that same time you're mentioning had convinced him and made a bet that if we went further in the NCAA Regional than Wake Forest did, he would have to flip his commitment. And he didn't stick to his word because he actually did go further than Wake Forest that year. And so we give him a hard time all the time. I was trying to get him to flip his commitment as of like yesterday just to make it a de facto commitment for High Point, but he didn't go for it.
Oh, come on. That would be a really cool thing. That
he can't do his dad a solid? Like, I don't understand.
High Point lands Josh Hammond as a recruit, one of the top high school players in America.
He loses enough of our baseballs as it is. Like, I'm taking note, and he's got a bill coming to him. Don't worry.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, look, we see what Coastal Carolina's doing. Anything is possible. High Point can make this run.
Hey, yeah, listen, we have uniforms and everything, man. We compete and we play. It's a good place. We get guys playing pro baseball every year from our place, and I guess it just wasn't enough of a draw. Maybe he just wanted me to be dad and not coach, which is refreshing.
I get it. Absolutely. Joey Hammond is our guest, head coach of High Point University. Josh Hammond is his son. What was the decision like to transition to being a position player when, a year ago this guy was a pitcher, viewed as a pitcher, and that's what, is maybe going to get him drafted, to then the commitment to say, I want to play every day. I want to play every inning, and I'm going to be a shortstop, and I'm going to commit to being a position player. And, oh, by the way, my bat is going to start raking.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because it's pretty fascinating, and it took a lot of guts, to be honest with you. It was met with a lot of, as you can imagine, some mixed reviews, at a really, competitive time of the year and in his entire draft process, the year heading into your draft year. To kind of flip the script on the narrative. He had been hearing me say all along, I had seen traits about the fact that I thought that he could be more special and unique as a position player. That was just my opinion. He happened to see it his way. And honestly, the defining moment was coincidentally when he was on Team USA, the 18U team in Panama. He made that club, and he made that club as a pitcher only. And Rick Eckstein and that staff did a fantastic job, and he was so fortunate and blessed to be a part of that team. But in that process, he'd come back from Panama, and he said, Dad, that was the greatest 2 weeks of my life. I think that pro baseball is it for me because that was a version of what that would look like. But I never want to do that again. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, I was a pitcher only, and I was on the field with, some of the best players that the industry has to offer with Eli Willis and Ethan Holiday and Gavin Feen and Casey Cunningham and these guys.
Amazing.
And he said, and I feel like I can do everything and then some that they can do, and I really want to have an opportunity to prove that. And I want to impact the game, and I feel like I can be a better teammate and make a difference in the games at a higher degree. And I said, well, look, if you want to do that, I'm in, but we're going to have to change everything. We got to change your body because he had been built to be a physical right-handed power pitcher. We got to get him moving better. We have to, make a lot of adjustments and focus on your swing decision, and clean up the path and just change everything. And so it's not going to be easy, man. And you're going to have to, educate the entire market. It's going to be hard. But I'm in if you're in, and I don't really care what anybody else thinks. And this just kind of speaks to his drive. And he's like, well, let's do it. And obviously he was right.
Yeah, I was going to say the work to put in when you're at the combine and batting practice, the ball leaves your bat at 108 as a wood bat. I mean, It's not like you're not turning around 97 with a wood bat to hit 108. It's a batting practice fastball that you're generating that. Like, when did you see that kind of power in him that he could drive the baseball, hit it a long way?
Again, I think that speaks to that's why I had said all along I thought he could do some outlying, unique things, because I would see glimpses of it, even 2 years ago when we would just be out at the field and we'd have TrackMan up and he'd hit balls kind of to the moon, and I'd see some of these numbers up. It just wasn't as consistent, and he wasn't training, his movements and in the weight room and things like that to be as an efficient mover. It was more explosive, from a pitching standpoint. And so I saw some of those outlier traits, and I thought, well, man, I know he's throwing the ball upper 90s and he spins a real good breaking ball, but he's also a 6'1" right-hander, and man, what he's doing offensively here, and I knew the athlete that he was, this could be different. And so I saw some signs of it, but he didn't put it all together until obviously this last calendar year.
This would be projecting, and as a dad, you obviously know the drive that he has, and we clearly see what happens when he went from a guy being viewed as a pitcher only to now being drafted as a position player. If you go back, Joey Hammond's our guest, Josh Hammond's father, head coach of High Point University. If you go back and Josh makes the decision, let's say 3 years ago, is he still there at 28 for the Royals in your mind?
Again, projecting.
Yes.
I guess this would. I hope, and that's a weird answer because I firmly believe that we prayed about it all the time, and the Royals were the place that he landed. So my hope would be that that's how it would end up. But logically, I would tell you, I think the sky's the limit for what he's capable to do when he can get in the hands of some folks that have even more resources that I can and knowledge than I can provide. I think we'll see that play out over the next 2 years. And so to answer your question, no, I don't think he gets to that spot. If he were to make that decision a couple years ago. Having said that, I'm very happy and grateful that he did, because it was the Lord's will, and man, it turned out the way that it's supposed to, and he'll be better off because of it.
And not because you're on the phone with us and talking. I said this when the first round was over, and then on into Monday, that I'm most excited about Josh Hammond and what he can do. That's the one that gets me pumped. There's nothing against Sean Gamble. I think he's going to be a good player as well.
I agree.
And some of the other players that they took, Cameron Millar, throwing 97 and going from 92 to 97, like that's certainly exciting. But I just think what Josh can do, I'm pretty excited about that. Have the Royals talked about what the plan may be with getting it done and then getting him into pro ball? Is it Arizona or what's the next steps for Josh?
Yeah, no, we found out he's actually going to fly to Arizona tomorrow. So he's heading out there tomorrow. I'm going to work through the mini camp and get to work. He's so excited. If it could have been yesterday, he would have done it. He's just ready to go. I don't know if Mama feels that way, and myself included. But no, there's a good plan. I think they've got some things planned for him in Kansas City, which is going to be, again, another one of those things that's just a classy organization that's trying to, recognize this moment and his achievements, which I'm grateful for. And I'm happy to be a part of it as a family as well. And so I think that's the plan. And I think I love the fact that it's a blank slate and that they don't have all these expectations or thoughts lined out, because I think at the end, and I appreciate you recognizing that you're excited about him too. I think that the more people get around him and you spend 5 minutes with him, you're going to recognize that as good as he is as a baseball player, he's a significantly better human, better person. He makes you feel better about yourself. He's going to challenge you. And so any expectations or plans that an organization might have for him is going to be short-sighted anyway. And I think you'll recognize that in about 5 minutes being around him.
Visiting with Joey Hammond, head coach of High Point University, Josh Hammond's dad, the 28th overall pick. Last one for you, Joey, and this is more of a bigger picture because, you being around baseball for so long in your life and around the college game too, so seeing these high school kids come into college, I've been, we have a place around here. There's a few places, but my son goes to a place called the Baseball Lab, and they've got all the technology that's there and the pitching machines, and they've got, the machine that can mimic the different pitches of Major League Baseball players. Here's a Garrett Cole curveball, right? They've got the machine that you can, put in the pitch sequence of an entire at bat, and the guy who's batting doesn't know what the next pitch is going to be. Like everything that we're seeing today, the infrared with the pitching mechanics, and he's doing all of these different things at the Baseball Lab. The technology we're seeing in today's game with even the youth, as you've seen it, how much better and more skilled, or maybe not, I don't know, have you seen baseball players, become over the years with having all of these different things that were really available to major leaguers, and that was kind of it, that now my 9-year-old son can go and experience?
Yeah, head in the clouds, I would tell you, like, it's a great thing. There's so many advantages to it. I'm a better coach because of technology. He's a better player because of technology, if and when used right.
Yes.
One of the challenges, though, that I do share with it is that I think some of the art of competition and the toughness and the grit and all of those things becomes a little bit more of a lost art, to be honest with you. We're seeing that more and more at the college level when players show up. They're lab ready and they have every metric that there is. But I think it's like anything else in life. Balance is important. You have to hunt those metrics and things like that. They're really important. But at the end of the day, we can't forget we're playing baseball, and you have to be. I think that's one of the advantages again Josh has in that we talk about it all the time, and his baseball awareness and his IQ are through the roof, and that's because not because he chose to study it per se, but because even osmosis will kick in a little bit. He's just around it all the time, and he probably heard me say that all the time too. I recognize it. There's some old school in kind of my game, but yet at the end of the day, those resources are invaluable. But we can't forget that the art of competition and baseball awareness is, to me, the separator between the good and the great. And I think that gets lost at times. I would encourage folks in the game to not forget to just go play baseball some too.
Yeah, boy, that term, they show up lab ready, is really interesting because a lot about the analytics and what you're testing and the spin rate and the EV and some of those things. And so it's a great thing to have because, around here in Kansas City, it gets so cold in the wintertime that we can't play year round. So my son is in the lab constantly in the wintertime and doing the pitching programs and hitting programs, and he absolutely loves it. And in fact, we're going Friday again, just he loves it and loves the game. And so there's certainly that aspect of it. But I love that term, lab ready. How about it be game ready?
Or both. There
right.
is important. It's better than what the alternative could be.
Yeah,
so it's a good thing he's in there.
Yeah. Did Josh play any other sports growing up? Was he a multi-sport guy, or was dad was a baseball player, brother was a baseball player? I'm a baseball player.
Yeah, no, he definitely was. He would hate it if I reminded him that he played soccer a little tiny bit, but that was really young, and then he stopped doing that quick. But he was a basketball player, and he could really play. Again, point guard, he could really play, he could really shoot. And then he made the decision that he wanted to focus on baseball while he was going into high school. And my only contingency was, okay, well, then you're going to tell me what you're going to do during the winter because you're not just going to sit around here. And so at a really early age, he designed a whole full workout program that was actually kind of bulletproof. And I was thinking, okay, another example of him being a little different. And now you have to execute it. And, of course, we're hearing loud, med ball slams in the carport in the middle of the night. So he executed it.
Amazing. Joey, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. And I know that I really believe Royals fans are going to get to enjoy over the years Josh. I'm excited for what he can do in a Royals uniform. It'll be a few years, but sounds like with the work ethic and the things that he does, he'll be on the right path. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it today.
I appreciate it, Jason. Thank you. Absolutely.
There's Joey Hammond. He's the head coach of High Point University. Again, that's High Point University that beat Vanderbilt last year in the NCAA tournament. And of course, he's now gone from Joey Hammond, head coach of High Point University, to now Josh Hammond's dad. That's what he's now become as the Royals take Josh Hammond 28th overall and just different. Also, by the way, shouldn't be overlooked, point guard in basketball. I mean, you got to know what you're doing. You got to be the leader. You got to have everybody in place, as he talked about him being a team player. And a guy as a freshman that designed his entire winter workout routine. It's pretty legit. And made the decision, by the way, that, you'd have to go back and talk to some of the scouts and some of the people that worked around baseball and covering the draft and covering, high school prospects and have them weigh in on what the reaction and opinions were at the time of Josh Hammond saying, I don't want to be PO anymore. I want to go and be a position player, and I'm going to revamp a lot of things, and I'm going to change my body to do that. Going into your draft year is a pretty big risk, but it looks like it paid off, and hopefully it paid off for the Royals as well. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. Mick Schaefer's going to join us coming up at 1 o'clock. We'll talk with him about, I'll get his thoughts on some All-Star Game activity from last night. A couple of days off from the sports world. The Chiefs heading to St. Joe on Sunday. First practice, well, the conditioning on Monday, and then first official practice on Tuesday. And again, we'll see if Omar Norman Lott is going to be in attendance and showing up on Sunday. The Chiefs start earlier than other teams, and so they aren't getting to camp at the same time as a lot of other teams that we get there later. Like we talked about yesterday with Todd Lebo, that Tyler Shuck seems to be the one that is holding this up, and the Saints don't report until the 22nd, which is the first day of the Chiefs' actual practice. So if they don't get a deal done with him until like he's reporting, is Omar Norman Lott going to miss report day and then conditioning, and then that's it? Okay, that's been missing a couple of days. It could be worse, right? It could be the Bengals and Shamar Stewart and what they're dealing with, because everybody around Shamar Stewart in the entire first round is signed. There's no wiggle room of trying to figure out what's the guaranteed portion of the contract. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's just the language in the contract that they're fighting over. All these second rounders are waiting for the next domino to fall to see what the other guaranteed dollars are going to be. So we'll see what happens as next week. This time next week, in fact, at 11 o'clock, we would be hearing press conferences. So next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll be having a press conference from the Chiefs there in training camp in St. Joe. It's here. It is here. We've made it. We've officially, I guess on Sunday, but we've gotten through the Super Bowl to training camp with just a couple of shows to go here. And Trey Smith signs his deal.
Anytime you say guaranteed, I just think of Tommy Boy. I'm not going to lie.
I can take a,
In a box market guaranteed, I will.
I've got extra time. But for your sake, for your daughter's sake, you might want to try buying a quality product from us. Okay, I'll buy from you. Well, I guess, what's that? Huh? We're not going to take, we're taking no prisoners. Nope, we're not going to take, no bleep. Nope, we're not going to take no for an answer. Oh, yeah, we're not going to take no for an answer. We're not going to take no for an answer. No. Well, I appreciate it. Nope. Well, we'll circle around and get back to you. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. No, we'll talk to you later. Tommy Boy, it's fun. All right, 913-912-4810. Adam Frazier traded to the Kansas City Royals for Cam Devaney, which has gone over with Royals fans kind of like a wet fart. It has not been, I'm just saying, it hasn't.
Kind of like what that guarantee is going to get you.
That's right. It hasn't been received very favorably. I would say that from sports fans, Royals fans, not exactly loving the trade. Tex says, maybe we can bring back Hunter Dozier. Pretty sure we still owe him money. It's a good call. It's a great call. Maybe they can. Tex says, not like you're selling oranges during the Alaska gold rush. Mediocrity doesn't sell. It's a player that they clearly did not believe in Cam Devaney, for a player that not many other people, that maybe only the Royals believe in.
My point isn't the Cam Devaney part. My point is even just bringing in Adam Frazier. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah. Tex says, Sterling, that's incorrect. This is the only team in baseball that Adam Frazier can make better. That's just math. You said he can't. He's not making any team better. Au contraire, there is one team he can make better.
Great comment. I like that guy. You know what? Or gal. I appreciate that person. That was funny.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Sorry, I give credit to people. I like people letting them know I enjoy their texts and comments.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, good for you. Congratulations on that.
They're part of the show.
That text also, by the way, saying, who cares about cranial fractures? I can't stand having that view not change very much at all. That's a great sarcastic thing. Who cares about cranial fractures? I can't stand that view being changed not much at all.
It does, though. If you're telling me you don't think the net changes
fantastic.
Your viewpoint,
Fantastic.
you were wrong. Get your eyes checked. If you have 20/20, it's very noticeable. Sorry.
I have 20/10 at everything more than 3 feet away, and it doesn't bother me a bit.
I have 20/20, and I can't.
20/10's better.
How? How's that better? 20 out of 20. That's 100%, Jason.
No, you can get better than 2020.
I was being a
I was going to
dumbass.
say, when I got LASIK, I was 2015.
I was trying to
got
be.
LASIK.
I was being a dumbass.
I'm not there anymore. But when I first got LASIK, it was 2015.
Like we're all 2025 now.
Yeah. Actually, I think I got LASIK in 2013.
Drake. That was very good. I know.
no,
I know.
I just got
I know.
it, yeah.
Jason just
No,
now
I
got
got
it.
it. No,
but
I got it.
that was really good.
I got it because I was already on my way to saying, oh, I got LASIK in 2013. When I said when I got LASIK, I was 2015. It's 2013. Doesn't matter. Tex says, is this move simply to make him a pinch hitter? Because he does have a pretty good pinch hitting numbers, but overall, I just don't get it. I mean, yeah, I think it's just absolutely depth, and that's it because their bench is Tolbert, Devaney, and you? Are you on the bench?
I was on the bench. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're.
I just sat there.
I think you're one of the. Well, so did Devaney. So, I mean,
I can do that.
Luke Maley.
Yeah, Luke Maley, because they have 3 catchers. Yeah. I just. You know what Adam Frazier.
Well,
I think
you and I
have,
are in agreement that this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Not really in favor of it. I am concerned that this means they're going to sort of commit to being buyers by bringing in Adam Frazier, because if you were thinking you might be selling, then hey, maybe give it a shot to see what you have in Cam Devaney, because you know what you have in Adam Frazier, and
Sure.
you only bring him in if the next 2 weeks are we're going for it and we're looking to be buyers and we're not examining selling,
So-
which I think they are doing all of that. But still.
I think they'll buy, and I think they'll sell. I don't think it's one or the other. I think they sell Lugo and they buy bats. Controllable bats. I think Adam Frazier, that's why it makes no sense either, because of the age, and it is a rental, and I just, again, that this will not make any sense to me. I get the pinch hitting aspect of it, but I still find it very Drew Waters-esque as far as the production, and you're not even probably going to have him play a lot of second base because you would have India play there or Nick Lofton play there. So if he's playing outfield, well, that's where Drew Waters play. It's not even a Drew Waters necessarily. I'm not trying to say that he's the answer, but I'm saying you have a very similar style, and he's a switch hitter. So that even gives you, again, he's better versus righties, but point still remains.
Yeah.
My fear is this is the only move.
Then
Yeah.
I'd be even more
Well, then-
befuddled.
Then there would be a revolt. If you're not buying or selling at the trade deadline, that's just absurd. Either you're going to buy and say we're going and trying to make back-to-back playoffs and
Sure.
make the postseason, or you're selling Lugo, man. I mean, he's way too valuable for what you can get back in a market that's going to be pretty sparse, and take advantage of that. Every once in a while, there's an opportunity for you to go and clean up, and this is an opportunity for the Royals to maybe get more value on their return for Lugo than they would in another year.
Agreed.
That might have, there's 5 or 6 of these guys out there on the open market, and so
Well, Zach Gallen was going to be out there, but Zach Gallen's been really struggling
Yeah,
this
been
year,
struggling.
right?
Alcantara.
Zach Gallen has a 5.4 ERA. Sandy Alcantara, he has a.
Has he been better of late?
He had been,
Is
but then
that
he
sort
went
of
back
like-
to his
Good.
Buns ways. A 7.22 ERA.
Is that all? Is that good or bad? Is it higher or the lower the ERA?
So
is that good or bad? I
Again,
don't
when
know.
you're looking at it, it's Lugo, and it's Lugo by a wide margin. This shapes up perfectly for the trade. And it's not that I don't want Lugo in Kansas City. It comes down to if you were not going to get a long-term extension deal done, if you're not prepared to offer 3 for $75, $25 million a year, there's no reason to hold on to
Yeah.
him, especially when you're coming from a position of strength in your already organization.
Well, I think even if you examine it right now, Sterling, and say we're probably not going to be in the market for 3 years, $25 million a year like Evaldi, or if that's the starting point of what Evaldi got, because Evaldi got that last year, now Lugo's a year later. So if that's the starting point, we're not going to be in that market. Okay, then at that point, do you then just simply examine and say we're going to trade Lugo, especially if Reagans is going to come back in August? I know some people have looked at it and said, well, if Reagans comes back in August, well, now you can be buyers, and now you're adding Reagans. Well, no, if you add Reagans in August, that can make up for what you're losing with Lugo. Now he slides into Lugo's spot, and your rotation continues this way. And if you trade Lorenzen, well, then, Rich Hill or
Who?
Dick Mountain or Dallas Keuchel or whoever slides into Michael Lorenzen's spot.
And again, I still think buying a controllable bat makes sense. I don't think
If you go that route too,
and
I'm with you.
I don't necessarily think it has to be to an extent. I don't think I think those are separate moves.
Yeah,
I don't think it's Lugo for a controllable bat. I think it's Lugo.
No.
You get whatever the most you can get back, whatever it is, you get that, and then in a separate move, you bring back a controllable bat. That's the way I would go about this.
Unless, of course, trading Lugo, as we've talked about, maybe getting some prospects or whatever. Unless, of course, trading Lugo is getting a guy that is a controllable bat for you that you like and is closer to the big leagues, and that team is willing to move on because they want to go and win it that year, and they're willing to do that with Lugo. I mean,
you're right, but to me, the teams I'm looking at that are after Lugo, I don't think there's a guy that they're trying to give up in that. Like, with a lot of the bats we've talked about have been the Angels, right?
Marlins.
Or maybe the Athletics.
The Marlins.
Yeah. They're not trying to trade for Seth
Agreed.
Lugo. So that's why I've said, more or less, it'll probably, not exclusively, but probably be in separate deals.
And that's why I think if you throw in the Dodgers could be somebody that Lugo for the controllable bat that's either in the big leagues or getting ready to be in the big leagues because they've got a few of those guys in their system because they have a stacked system.
Yeah.
By the way, Alcantara, the last 3 starts for him, 6 innings, 7 earned runs, 6 innings, 5 earned runs, 5 innings, 6 earned runs. So, he was pitching better, and then the last 3 starts he went back to being a guy who isn't any good.
Yeah.
So if you're going to trade for somebody that's going to get you over the hump to go and win a World Series, are you trading for Alcantara with 1 more year of team control? So you're taking on that contract too. Or are you trading for Seth Lugo? And then you can be in the drivers. Because Alcantara gets $17 million next year and then a $2 million buyout. So you'd be on the hook for at least $19 million next year if you trade for Alcantara right now. At one point, that would be viewed as a positive.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you're going to give up more because you've got a controllable asset next year. So the Marlins are going to get more. Now, do you want to take on the rest of the contract this year and then at least $19 million next year because of the $2 million buyout for what would be a $21 million option for 2027? Well, not if he pitches like this. I don't want to pay somebody $20 million to pitch to a 7 ERA. No, thank you. So does that now drive down the price for Alcantara? And now Lugo moves up the pecking order and becomes the guy that is the number one that's out there that people want, that the Cubs want to go get and say, Dodgers pitching, it's been an issue. Cubs pitching, been an issue. We got to go and get this guy. I mean, I would like the Royals to be in that. I love the Royals to win the next 30 games in a row. That'd be great.
Sure.
But I'm living in reality when they're 4.5 games out and there's 6 games they have to pass. And there's 2 or 3 other teams around them that are right at 4.5 or 5 games out.
I just really go back to the evolution or at least the emergence of Noah Cameron has made this decision easier in my eyes.
I agree.
Because if you didn't have Noah Cameron, I would probably say I think it's a legitimate conversation about keeping Seth Lugo. Mm-hmm. I think it would be a legit conversation of I would understand keeping Lugo. I like Lugo. Again, I would love to see him in a Royals uniform and over the next 4 years. I just don't think that that's the way this Royals team in a small market is going to operate. I just don't see them ponying up for that after you ponied up to an extent for Waka. You already have Bobby Witt Jr. on a long-term extension.
Because are you going to pay that for Lugo when you have Bubich, Reagans, and then you also have Noah Cameron when you need a bat?
When you need a bat.
So are you going to spend the $25 million a year on Lugo or 3 years, $25 million for a bat that may be out there in the open market?
Because you've proven, even during his starts, as good as he is, Lugo has been, you've proven that even if he gets 2 runs, that might be too much for the offense to overcome.
Yep.
7 innings, 2 runs might be too much for this offense.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Pretty Ricky has tweeted out. He had the Trey Smith news a while ago. Pretty Ricky has tweeted out, Chiefs are closing in on a new deal with George Karlaftis. Expect it to be done during training camp, but there is serious momentum towards getting an extension done with George Karlaftis. That's pretty fascinating because it felt like the momentum was going to be done with Trey Smith, attention moved to Trent McDuffie with Sauce Gardner signing his deal. Knowing what Derek Stingley's contract looked like, Sauce Gardner's contract, J.C. Horn getting his deal done. And I wonder if the Chiefs are looking at it and saying, we're going to pay the same, essentially, for Trent McDuffie this year and next year. Or we can franchise McDuffie next year. As opposed to, do we franchise George Karlaftis next year as a defensive end?
Oh, wow.
And that number, and I'd have to go and look at what those numbers are, cornerback versus defensive end. Or is George Karlaftis willing to take the guaranteed dollars now, going into year 4, after they've already picked up the 5th-year option for George Karlaftis? So going into year 4, is he willing to take the guaranteed dollars right now and the Chiefs getting him locked up for 4 years after this year if he's about to have, if the Chiefs are expecting maybe a career year for Karlaftis, where they were a year late on Houston, a year late on Barry, I think a year late on Trey Smith, obviously, because if they signed Trey Smith last year, they ain't paying him $23.5 million per year.
To your point, this year's franchise tag was just over $20 million for cornerback and $22 million for defensive end. But the 2026 projected franchise tag, according to Over the Cap, is $26.5 million for defensive end and $21.5 million for cornerback.
So if you franchise tag Trent McDuffie next year, you're on the hook for at least $21.5 million, which is what you're going to be on the hook for anyway.
Sure.
Whereas if you franchise tag Karlaftis, you're on the hook for $26.5 million. And I don't know that $26.5 million is going to be the number that they would pay for George Karlaftis.
Yeah, and so I think that makes sense. Again, my concern with the Trey Smith contract all along had been what does the trickle-down effect look like for Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, and again, eventually Rashee Rice, which I think, again, is an under-talked about just because of he still has obviously 2 years left, but he doesn't have the 5th-year option because he wasn't a first-rounder.
Yeah,
but
that wide receiver number in a couple of years is going to be like $30 million.
Yes, but I will also point this out. If they're able to sign those guys, I don't care what Trey Smith then signed for. Then I don't care about the money that was paid to a guard. If Trey Smith ends up being what Joe Thuney basically was, and it doesn't affect the Chiefs' ability to sign Karlaftis and McDuffie, then who cares? It doesn't really matter. I get there's some nuance, and yes, we'll all have some minor.
Here's the thing: but Josh Simmons is going to have to be Josh Simmons. Going to have to be the guy.
Kingsley Sumatia has to be a good left guard or fine left guard.
But to me, not even as much King. Josh Simmons needs to be the left tackle. If you're going to be paying Trey Smith this money and Creed Humphrey that money.
Agreed.
You need to have the rookie contract left tackle in Josh Simmons playing at a level of a first-rounder if he's healthy and a guy that people thought would be a top 10, top 15 pick.
Sure.
If that's the case, then yes, your overall dollar figure for your offensive line is more digestible and you can live with that rather than Josh Simmons. The injury never really got to what he was at Ohio State, and he's been just okay, and you got to figure out left tackle again, and now you're trading a pick and giving a left. Now you're trading for, not that this would be the case, but Laramie Tunsil, like the Commanders did. Now you're trading for that guy and giving him a big contract and giving up a draft pick because Simmons didn't work out. Oh, by the way, you also used that first-rounder on Josh Simmons. For Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey to be the highest paid players at their position, for it to make sense, Josh Simmons needs to be a really good left tackle.
Yeah.
And if Kingsley or Norzad or whoever plays a relative left guard, they don't need to really be above average, be a relative left guard, play that sort of position to where you're not a sieve. You don't have to be Joe Thuney, but you've got Creed on your right and a really good left tackle on your left. You can get away with some of those things. Then it would make a little more sense, and it's much more palatable. But if you got to go in and find a left tackle and then another right tackle when you move on from Jawan Taylor and you're paying Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey at top of the market money, that's pretty tough to balance your books.
I've also pointed out I'm glad that they're at least, again, who knows, this is, again, pretty Ricky, who somehow has all these sources. It's whatever it is. But if it is true and they are in serious talk to Karlaftis, I'm thrilled because I've been on record saying I think he's way more undervalued than people think. I know it's McDuffie's the All-Pro, but Karlaftis, as good as he's been, if you look at the defensive end room outside of Karlaftis, it's not great. FAU's not lived up to what I think. And this year, maybe he busts out, and you did draft Ashton Gelati, and that's great. But Mike Dan, I think, is probably more or less in the last year of his deal. Charles Omenihu is perpetually signing these prove-it deals. He's got to eventually stay in the field and play a full season and prove it. But you're really looking at Karlaftis. He is the guy. He is the cog. He is the guy you have to count on. Because if Karlaftis were to be injured, you have a whole bunch of what-ifs after him. And, I thought Karlaftis, I don't always love using this because I think it can be overblown sometimes, but Karlaftis is more important for the Chiefs than he is on other teams.
Agreed.
Because of how the defensive end room is currently set up in Kansas City. I think that the Chiefs it would behoove them to get us something done with George.
But if he breaks out this year and has 14 sacks or something like that, well, then you're going to be paying him a lot more money next summer.
I think another team would have to be paying him a lot more money next summer.
Because, ESPN.com continues to go through their list of the top 10s at every position. This morning they released top 10 wide receivers. But they had edge rushers last week, and we talked a little bit about it, but, Karlaftis didn't show up in the top 10. He showed up as an honorable mention.
That's still impressive.
And so that would be, maybe they did it. They list honorable mention in alphabetical order, so he could have been 11th, 12th, 13th, or 14th most votes as an edge rusher in the NFL. But if he goes out and has 14 sacks this year, he's not an honorable mention next year. People are going to view him as, okay, this guy's now reaching his peak. Now you're going to pay him a lot of money. All right, a Wednesday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Hanging out here on Sports Radio 810. One more hour to go. Hanging out with Mick Schaefer. That's him in the background. He's snapping. He's a snappy dresser, and if he doesn't like to talk, you know, and
I'm a
that's
great
fine.
snapper.
Oh, yay!
I'm a great snapper.
Yeah, right?
I
snapper
can't
fish?
whistle, but I can snap.
Okay, very good.
My
for
excuse
you.
every time growing up when I couldn't whistle. I'm like, I'm a good snapper, though.
Mick Schaefer, presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. Experience world-class sports facilities, including an ice rink, turf field, state-of-the-art courts, arcade games, laser tag, bowling, sports simulators, a bar and grill. That is Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk, where sports and entertainment collide. We have not done the laser tag there.
You've been out there.
Yes,
right?
we've been
it's
out
not
there.
a park. It's like a city.
Yeah.
out there.
It's
so big.
amazing,
And
dude.
Yes.
Every time I go out there, they're adding on to it.
Yeah.
I think they've added on to it since probably the last time I was there was like wrestling season. We did a story because they held like the 6A state wrestling meet there for Kansas.
That's awesome.
And there's not a sport you can't play there on some sweet.
But also, it's so much fun to play crazy darts, bowling. I've been bowling there. Yeah, their dart boards are incredible. They have, it's like almost a projector. Okay, so it is a projector. They have 4 projectors, and
It's
they
almost
have
like one.
these games that will rotate through, and there'll be like balloons that you have to pop. But as they're going through, and somehow the darts will recognize it. Metal tip darts too. I just the technology blows my mind. How it actually reads it so accurately and correctly. We went and had so much fun up there. But also Pop a Shot is fun. We set the the high score out there one night. That was pretty.
I'm talking about real
pretty fun.
sports,
What's high score?
like basketball and hockey and all that stuff
Yeah.
out there.
Okay, well I went.
But yeah, if you want to do crazy darts, that's
It's
cool.
fun. It's fun.
Pop a shot.
We bowled
I-
there as
I-
well.
Did you
okay.
play Galaga there?
No, I don't think they have Galaga.
Oh, that's too bad.
But they do have that zip line,
Oh,
which
did you
I
get the
did.
claw? You did the claw game?
I,
where you,
yeah, it's pretty fun though. They skee ball. We did do skee ball. That's a real sport.
I'll allow.
That's
I'll
a real
allow skee
sport.
ball. And by the way, bowling, they have like the bowling pins that are attached to strings.
Yes.
So they don't have to have the machine that goes and loads them back up, sets them down. They'll just pull them back up.
So much quicker and more efficient and
And
effective.
like the
didn't notice
technology there, it's the same
Yeah.
pin action as regular bowling, but I'm sure they're saving on money and not having the huge machines have to pick them up and then send them back down.
I did the zip line though. The zip line is fun. I don't know if you saw people.
My son
mostly
did the zip
kids.
line.
and nine-year-olds do that.
Yeah, but that was
sure,
for
yeah.
my 31st birthday. I did that.
Sure.
You're 9 at heart.
I'm 9 at heart.
That's
Okay, I'm a
You're-
kid at heart.
You're 31, but you read at a
Take-
9-year-old level, so it's all good.
Take his age and subtract 20. That's kind of how he acts.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
And it was electric.
Also, by the way, coming up this weekend, tomorrow or Friday night. Today's Wednesday, so Friday through Sunday is the Kansas City Armed Forces Hockey Classic at Blue Hawk.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool because all of the money that's raised goes to the KC Warriors program, and you've got all these veterans that are assigned to different teams, and then the tournament taking place starting on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Blue Hawk. So
The
that's,
hockey
pretty
rink
awesome.
is maybe the most legit
It's
court
awesome,
they
dude.
have there. It's huge. One whole side's a huge stands and everything.
We went there
It's
on the
nice.
night when Mizzou and KU played hockey.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Shot
that was the
that
first
game.
night we went there, and then we've gone back a couple more times since.
I want to bring this up to Mick because I think he'll have a strong thought on this,
Okay.
and it's a little slightly golf related.
Those are the only thoughts I have.
Adam Frazier, strong one.
Oakmont Country Club has banned Wyndham Clark from his property after his foolishness, his anger outburst in destroying the locker room at Oakmont. So,
Good for them.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So what all did he do? I've heard bits and pieces.
I saw
of
like
that
the
story.
lockers were like broken.
It was after the PGA
and, like,
was that
smashed
what was
in.
there?
Correct.
Yeah, PGA
and
was
so, according to the letter, the ban could be lifted, but as of now, he's banned from Oakmont if he pays for damages, makes a meaningful contribution to a charity selected by the Oakmont Country Club board, and undergoes counseling and anger management therapy.
That's a sandwich there. The real meat is the second thing you said. Meaningful contribution right there.
But I will
it's a
al-
money sandwich.
I will also point out that's good. U.S. Open's there in 2033, so at 7
So
years,
it's 7,
8 years.
He could still be doing it.
He's 31
Yeah.
years old now, so he'd
He's
be
won
39.
One major, right? He won which did he win the PGA or was it
The one
US
when he
Open?
hit that absolute slice off the face of the planet that somehow was still in the right side of the fairway, you could land 7 Boeing 747s on.
Yeah. It's funny.
He hit
like-
it, and we all go, "That's OB. That's out of the property."
He won the U.S. Open in 23, so he doesn't need to go back to Oakmont. It's not a big deal.
He's already
got an Open. He's going for the career Grand Slam. Okay?
That's wild to me, and like I can certainly relate to being mad on a golf course.
Yeah.
But after like a slam the club into the ground or into your bag or just and letting some
Yeah.
F-bombs fly, it's about it for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ever. I can't imagine being so mad to like destroy property. And by the way, he's probably mad at shooting like a 74. Right?
But
Or
not
something
only
like that.
has he done this, he also had the one where he threw the driver at
What was
after
the
a bad
driver's
drive.
name?
Yeah,
Did the
no,
driver
that's,
sue?
That's my move. I
And
can
he
do that.
threw it
I
at
can
the
do that.
sign, and it destroyed that sponsorship sign. And there's that guy standing behind him, like that holds up, straight, left,
Yeah,
right.
sure, yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, that was pretty scary. That's pretty close." And then he had to apologize for that. It's like, dude, you might have anger issues.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people do once you put them on the golf course. Maybe they should, the PGA, like each hole, you have like some,
An anger hole.
yeah, it's like an anger hole or a part of the hole where you have like a sign or there's a guitar you can pick up and just bash it into a brick wall.
They actually give
just
you
let
clubs.
it go. Yes.
They give you
Here you
random,
go.
terrible old clubs that you can just
This
break.
is to save our clubhouse later on. And it would be great television. So I'm in for that.
Well, this is what happens
it
when you
would
go
be
to
like in the home run derby, into the All-Star game on a home run derby.
when you go to Oklahoma State. This is what happens. So I mean,
Wait, was he an O-Stater?
yeah, and then apparently
that
he
makes
went
a
to
lot of
Oregon.
sense.
So he left Oklahoma State because
I don't know him as an Oklahoma Stater. I know him as any other
He went to
place.
Oregon.
Do you wanna
but
claim
I-
him?
I now
No.
only know him as an Oklahoma Stater, not an Oregon.
Well,
Buck.
listen, that's
not an
first of all,
Oregoner.
he's got He's got the name of a hotel.
I was going to say,
right? I mean,
Wyndham, he's been banned from Wyndham Clark. You mean somebody was banned from Wyndham Clark?
He's got the name of like someone who has 5 trust funds.
Yes. Wyndham Clark can't go to Oakmont.
There was no other sport he was going to be allowed to play than golf.
Yes, right.
Wyndham Clark does not play football or
Water
hockey.
polo,
He's
lacrosse,
not a wrestler.
Lacrosse, maybe.
Maybe lacrosse. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess he probably could play lacrosse.
If it happens at a country club, he can play it.
Yeah, that's true. He could be a tennis player, I think.
He wasn't going to fit in Stillwater.
That's why he went to Oregon.
Well, he actually didn't like still water. It had to be sparkling.
That's right. I'm not going to do this anymore. So, Wyndham Clark has been banned from Oakmont.
He went to Valor Christian in Colorado with the McCaffreys.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Christian McCaffrey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows Valor Christian is Christian McCaffrey.
And all the McCaffreys.
Everybody knows that. Mick Schaefer is hanging out with us today. Mick, did you enjoy the All-Star game last night?
I had a blast watching it.
Yeah,
it was awesome. I always get worried in those games because a lot of times they're low scoring because the pitching is so freaking good, and you have no time to adjust to a good pitcher because Kershaw's there for 2 outs. Right?
I think the total was 6.5.
Skeens is there for one inning,
Yeah.
and so, but yes, 12 runs, and having the AL come back and tie it up, and then the way they ended it was awesome. I feel like Dave Roberts was like, nah, I'm not going to overthink this. Meat and potatoes. I'm going to get these guys right. And then Aaron Boone was in the lab, maybe like, well, everybody's expecting us to do this. We'll do this. We'll send out the guy with 21 career homers.
No, I think
as our anchor.
Get that singles hitter out there.
He hit some doubles, didn't he? A couple doubles.
He hit a double. Like
Yes.
he hit one that double off the wall,
Then he
and then the
popped
double
out.
into right center. Then he popped out. I think Boone was taking it like, hold on, what are we doing? It's like the 49ers not knowing the overtime rules in the Super Bowl.
That's a great point.
It's like, hold on, what are we doing?
Wait, what are we doing?
I said, do you?
Aranda, have you done this before?
I think
Let's
they
do
had it. They had to have the list beforehand. I had heard.
Yes,
I think so.
but a
Right,
lot.
yeah.
Some guys had left, like
And
Judge
guys were in their
and
jeans.
Shohei.
And if you've been out for 4 or 5 innings, don't make. I get it. You're going to make a guy go
You don't
swing.
choose a guy who has played 200 games in Major League Baseball and has hit 21 home runs.
So Bobby was there though.
You had the
and
guy who finished second in the Derby last year and was hot AF.
And
at the
Buxton
time.
just
And
competed in the
Buxton,
Derby
yes.
the night before.
But hear me out. Did
here.
Jazz Chisholm tell Aaron Boone, "Hey, no Royals"?
That
what
was
about
probably
Twins? Could have gone
And
Byron Buxton.
Twins.
And Twins, yeah. Bobby Witt told Annie Rogers, said that he was not asked to participate in the home run swing-off, but he wanted to. Quote, I wish that would have been fun.
Yeah.
So Aaron Boone has Bobby Witt finished second last year in the home run derby, and you know is going to be in the game because Jacob Wilson is starting. It'd be different if Bobby was starting.
And there
he
wasn't
was
a
gonna be taken
third
out.
shortstop, right? That's what I was thinking. Was there a third guy you thought he might have in at that point?
Nope.
No.
It was Jacob Wilson and then Bobby Witt, and they got Michael Garcia in the game by putting Jazz at second.
Yeah.
And so you knew those guys were going to be if you're planning ahead, like clearly they were planning on when guys would come in and who they would come in for and which guys would maybe just pinch hit.
I have the.
You know who's going to be in there at the end.
Cal Raleigh would have done it. I don't care if
I
he
think
was
so
out of the
too.
game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're
he
not
was
named Big Dumper if you're not going to.
He almost
do that.
had 2 doubles that last night. I mean, he hit the ball great.
Yep.
And I'm tired of like Judge is in that category of like I'm too good for what everybody loves me for, right? You guys talked about all the great dunkers in the NBA who don't do the dunk contest, right?
Well, I would win if I
All
did
these
it, but I'm
guys
not
are-
going to
All
do it.
these guys are like the bands who don't want to play their hits, right? No, I'm too good to play the song that gave me 2 houses and a yacht, right?
I'll play
I'm
this
tired.
new song
How
that no
dare
one
you want that?
knows.
Yes, new stuff.
With a synthesizer and,
You got
and a
there. Sure,
keytar.
yeah.
You nailed it. Yeah, no, you definitely got there. It was all good. It's why I love Rob Van Winkle, otherwise known as Vanilla Ice. We had him on at the Super Bowl, That's My Boy with Adam Sandler. When that movie came out, he was there promoting with Adam Sandler. I got Rob, Vanilla Ice. Other people got Adam Sandler. But I was perfectly fine because we rapped together Ice Ice Baby, the first verse, back and forth, which was a dream of mine. And I asked him about that. I said, some people are afraid to talk about that. He goes, the reason I'm at the Super Bowl is because of that song.
Yes.
He said, the reason I'm in a movie with Adam Sandler is because of that song. Why would I not embrace it and love that and talk about it every freaking day of my life? Somebody wants to talk about it. Yes, I'm here. I'm in a movie because of that song.
Who's the lead singer of Everclear? It's Alec.
yeah.
The Greek.
Art Alexakis?
Yes. Art, yes. He was on one time. He was talking about the same thing. People were like, will you play Santa Monica? I'm like, Of course I will.
Yeah.
That song got me a house, and I was able to survive my first divorce because of it, because of that song.
And then
so,
I will buy you a new life.
Yes. There we go. And so
Father
I think
of
we're
mine.
there with there's so many obvious choices, but I'm too good for it for the home run derby and to end the All-Star game. And I get it, Judge had been out for a while, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's too much to ask a guy who hadn't played in an hour to get up and swing the bat.
But it's also, to that point, Walker Hayes is a guy that I know Chiefs fans aren't a big fan of because, halftime in 2021's AFC Championship game that he came out and performed fancy like and then they lost in the second half against the
because
Bengals.
of him?
Yes, I mean,
Oh,
right?
okay, I didn't know that.
But he did an interview where they asked, you do these songs, but, do you kind of get tired of doing that? He goes, I was a struggling artist for 12 years until that song came out. I'll sing that every night. Every night I will sing that. That's the break. Whatever the interview was, I can't remember. He's like, the reason you're talking to me is because of that song. Every single night I'm playing that song. Nobody had heard of me, and I was doing the same things I'm doing now, writing the same music and everything. Then that song came out. And yes, I'm going to freaking talk about it and play it.
Speaking of the All-Star game, I think so. Zach Brown Band, they sang the national anthem, right? Mm-hmm. Then I think they played songs between each inning when they went to break live. And I saw them in concert last summer. It was awesome because they played either all of their hits, and then they started covering all these other great hits. They did Bohemian Rhapsody,
nice.
these other songs.
Those are fun concerts when they play those
song,
things.
yeah. It wasn't like we're trying this out. We did this the other day in the studio. No, they were all from 2011, and they were great, and we loved it. And so anyway, but yeah, that was I felt like the NL was more like Zach Brown Band. We're gonna play the hits here, and the AL was like, got some new stuff. It's called Aranda. Not that it was his fault. I mean, look, it's incredibly difficult because going in, I was thinking it was 3 outs, not 3 swings.
Yeah.
And then Rooker, I'm like, where's his more swing? Oh, it's just 3 swings.
Yeah.
Not 3 outs.
Schwarber, of course, did what everyone knew. Everyone knew he was going to hit.
All he does is hit home runs. So get the guy who just hits home runs.
Although if it was 3 outs, I would love to see how many home runs Schwarber would have hit.
All of them.
He hit as many as Jazz hit.
He calls it. He's like, I'm done, guys.
What do you think? So going into it, I was like, this kid, 10 or 12 is going to win it, but that's when I thought it was 3 outs. When I learned that, I'm like, it could be 3 or 4,
yeah.
And it ended up being 4.
By the way, Alonso, when we're talking about guys that weren't in the game, Alonso had not played for a couple of innings,
and he was
because Matt Olson came in for him, and he was competing in it. So
that's a guy. He wasn't in the home run derby this year.
No, he decided not to be in the home run derby.
God dang it, Pete, let's go.
Which would have been hilarious if he didn't compete in the home run derby on Monday, but to win the All-Star game on Tuesday was competing in a home run derby. Yeah. Was the guy that would have won it for him, and he would have been MVP if he got a chance to hit.
I wanted the AL to win, Royal side, right, whatever, except in only one way, unless it meant that the NL was going to win in, they measured the home runs, and Brent Rooker was like an inch short. Yet again. I wanted that to happen.
Well, what I talked about yesterday is I think Brent Rooker got robbed even more egregious than an eighth of an inch.
Yeah, because he didn't have all the balls.
Yeah, he had 38 balls in his basket as opposed to 40, because you're supposed to get 2 warm-up pitches, and they gave him the warm-up pitches, but they didn't give him the bucket for warm-up pitches. They just had the bucket of 40 baseballs, and so he got to the end, 38 pitches, and there wasn't anything left, and there was still 10 seconds to go.
2 balls is a big difference.
It's 100% a big difference. It could be the difference of winning or losing.
Especially at the end when you've kind of got you in a groove. Yeah. All I got to do is one more out, and he makes it.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sterling, you learned about that yesterday.
I learned about vasectomies yesterday.
Sometimes they work,
on
sometimes
air
they
from
don't.
Lebo, and I was not thrilled.
And if
against
you go through
my
that,
will.
But if you go through that, you don't want them to work then.
I still got live rounds, so I don't know about
It's like
vasectomies.
taking the venom out of a cobra. What do you have then? A belt?
A cobra?
God, of course you called yours a cobra.
No, he was saying other people. God, son of a gun, man.
It's like taking the rings off a garter snake. Anyway, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And the MLB has the best All-Star game.
Agreed.
For so many reasons. The skills competition is the best. The home run derby is better than anything else. The ancillary stuff and any of the other sports. for the most part, the stars play. Usually, if they can, it's an injury or, hey, I pitched on Sunday type deal. And so it's a celebration, but it's also a competitive game. And some people who was like, Lee, Zach, and Kevin used to hate it because on Sunday Night Baseball, a lot of times they'll have like Bryce Harper mic'd up for an inning in the right field.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
then they had the pitchers mic'd up last night.
Kershaw.
I absolutely love that.
Let's hear Clayton Kershaw. That was fun. This is about 2
Throw
minutes.
cutter.
Yeah.
2 minutes and 20 seconds.
I
with
don't have what he said. I don't have a cutter
Throw that
Smoltzy.
pitch. Here's Clayton Kershaw for he was out on the mound for about 2 minutes and 20 seconds because he only threw to 2 batters. Here you go.
I can't believe you're doing this, Clayton.
I can't either. I'm going to try to throw some cheese real quick. Hold on.
Cal Raleigh hooks it in the air to left field. And a sliding catch by Kyle Tucker.
It was 89
What?
miles an hour.
That was sick.
Is this a fastball?
The cheese.
Kyle Tucker now with the Cubs, enjoying a great season and enjoying a great catch.
I think this might be my last batter, guys.
That was sweet.
Yeah, how hard was that one? 91?
It was an out.
It was an out. All right, going cheese again.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. I mean, you and Paul Skeens are pretty much the same guy.
Right down the middle. I'm so
So-
glad he didn't swing. Okay, I'm going curveball here.
Okay.
Oh, that was short.
He was breaking off.
Yeah.
The curveball looked good.
I like this one.
Double
Trusting
up.
Will Smith.
All right, now I think I probably got to go slider. Let's think what Will thinks, but I think I got to go slider here. No, he wants curveball again. All right, fine.
All right, fine.
Oh, I got him.
He got him. Oh, got him. He didn't swing. Woo-hoo.
Okay. What do you want? Smoltzy, what do you want?
Cutter in, slider in.
I don't throw a cutter.
He doesn't
Smoltzy.
slider in, say cutter.
Son of a.
Can make him mad.
That was short.
Short.
How about this splitty? Break out the
All right, what's the
splitty.
count? 2-2?
Yeah,
This
2-2.
is so weird talking to you guys.
Yeah, it's kind of
Holy
weird for us,
cow.
too. Hey, sit him down.
I think that might be it.
I think that's it. And
Offense free out.
Clayton, what a year, buddy. What a career. And what a moment. Soak it in.
Thanks, brother. All right. Thanks. Thanks, dude. Attaboy.
So there you go, Clayton Kershaw. I'm going to throw the cheese, 89 miles an hour, smoke to left field. And then Vladdy, I'm going to throw the cheese again, 89. Oh, thank God he didn't swing. It was right down the middle. 89. Throw the cutter. I don't have that pitch. Son of a Smoltzy, son of a. He did throw the slider back to back, which Smoltzy did said slider after cutter. Throw the cutter, but slider. I mean, throw the slider.
You don't have to know like what he's done in his career. You just have to see that. How great would it be just to? You've accomplished so much in your career that you can just dork around in an all-star game. No big deal. Was it 3,000 strikeouts now?
Yeah.
The Cy Youngs, World Series, all that stuff. Surefire, first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm just going to go. As he said, by the way, is this his final season?
Yeah.
Okay. He said that.
Yep.
He has said that?
I thought it was that he had
They're
said it's his
acting
final
like
season.
it, but I didn't.
They're acting like it, but yeah, I did. Without the injuries, he was on pace to go down in the modern era as maybe the best pitcher of all time. When you look at some of the era-adjusted numbers, his ERA and all of the ridiculousness that he has done it's absurd. His career whip is just over 1 for a starting pitcher. 3,000 strikeouts over that now. 2.52 ERA. 216 wins and 95 losses, so I know a lot of the wins people are going to be a little upset by that. But again, 80 WAR, and what he's done is just
How many seasons is it now? Almost 20?
18 now.
Have you seen that? I think it's him. It might be AI. I don't know. But supposedly in like 06 or whatever, it's supposed to be Maddox and
Randy Johnson
going to get. They both were late scratches, and instead
Him
it
and
was
Scherzer.
Scherzer.
Well, we got these young no-name rookies going at it.
Let's see what this Kershaw
he
fellow
went
looks like.
in 11 Cy Young 1, 12 Cy Young 2. Was that the Greinke one?
No, 9 was Greinke.
I know, but did Greinke get another one with
Greinke won 2.
in 11? He should have won actually,
D-backs?
but they give it to
Hey, don't call him that. I like Greinke.
Give it to Kershaw. Well, he went 1, 2, 1, 1, including an MVP thrown there for good measure.
Did Greinke only win one Cy Young?
He's the longest tenure
Greinke
with
only
one
won
team,
one
right?
I thought Greinke won another Cy Young.
I did too.
Just the one.
No, he finished second in 2015 with the Dodgers.
I mean, in 2011, I had to go to a meeting in San Francisco, and I could see the ballpark out the window of the hotel. So there was a game that night. I walked over. I bought a standing room ticket. I walk in, Lincecum, Kershaw. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
Incredible.
This might be the best.
Yeah,
what is
Kershaw
this?
finished third in 2015 in the Cy Young voting behind Jake Arrieta, who won it,
That's what it was.
and Zach Greinke, his teammate,
Yeah.
finished second. So they had Greinke and Kershaw finishing second and third.
In 15.
Yeah.
This-
And where'd they lose in the playoffs? Did the Mets beat them, or they make the
Probably.
playoffs?
I don't
Or I
know.
don't even remember.
And the reason Jake Arrieta won the Cy Young that year is because he had 22 wins.
This might be the best
As
7-year
opposed to
stretch.
Greinke's 19. Greinke with a better
better
WAR,
ERA
better
and
ERA,
WAR,
lower
yeah.
WHIP, better ERA plus, all of that stuff.
7-year stretch. Cy Young 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 5, 2, with an ERA of 2.28, 2.53, 1.83, 1.77, 2.13, 1.69, 2.31,
4 straight years he led the National League in WHIP. 4 straight years.
and 4 straight years in E ERA.
Wasn't
Oh, yeah,
Sterling
he did.
complaining about Kershaw being in this game yesterday?
He was.
No, I said I find the legend. I said I'm agnostic on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Way to
Blue Valley
take a
Northwest
stand.
kid came in. Jason Adam came in for
Yeah,
him.
my point was
Way
I
to
don't
take a
think it
stand.
should count as an all-star appearance in the history books. I'm okay with him going, but like
I
he
think
nobody
you're looking-
pitches
look,
us-
I mean-
so nobody pitched to Cal Raleigh and Vlad
no,
Guerrero.
he
This
can
is
be there.
a
I'm saying, but-
ceremonial thing for a lot of players for a lot
no,
of years.
only 3 times. There's
What?
only been 3: Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, and now Clayton Kershaw.
Nobody's talking
I'm
about
saying,
there
like
have been
people going
ceremonial
on their
guys.
name
Yes.
all the time.
Fair.
All the
I
time.
guess for me, my thought process was, I'm cool with him pitching in it, with him being there
cool
and
with
getting the accolades. But one, where's the cutoff? Like, who did Greinke not get one because he had a great career? Does Scherzer get one then? Does Verlander get one then? I think it's a slippery slope. And then 2, I just don't think that it should count in the history books as
It helps that your manager's the manager.
Dave Roberts. Yeah,
It also, so you're saying he should be a 10-time All-Star, not 11-time All-Star.
yeah, I guess.
But I think it also helps, too, as we'll take a break, play some Rotten Tomatoes. I think it helps if you are really well-liked by everybody around baseball.
Right.
They are way more willing to go, hell yeah, let's have Kershaw come out for another one. Unless you're just an AH, like, no, I don't think we need him around. No, he's been to 10 All-Stars. Do we really have to have another All-Star for this guy? I think that also helps, too. Plus, you don't get invited back at Field of Dreams, like, Ty Cobb,
You think Caglione was like, oh, man, he reminds me of this guy I faced in AA.
There was a...
I know that guy.
reminds me-
I got a hit off him.
Very similar.
Is his name Leighton or Clayton? Clayton, I don't know. It was fun. He was a lefty that threw a big hook.
Matt
there,
Stafford's like, this reminds me of this kid on my basketball team back when I was 12.
all right, we'll take or the people that we met in Lake Tahoe that said, "Oh yeah, Bobby Witt lives. The Witts live right down the street. Our son played baseball with him his whole life." Oh, that's cool.
That's
Reminds me
nice.
like that's
Must be nice.
Bobby Witt fella. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Rotten Tomatoes next.
that. I'd say 88. You could easily gone 85.
Yeah,
but now, which
right?
way are you going to go, bud?
Yeah, what do you think?
You said what? What did he say?
4D chess being played over here.
What did he say?
91.
91, 85. So you could go
4D chess.
88. You got to go right in the middle, though.
Yeah, you're going to be a
just
94.
Just I was going to say, just pick. It doesn't matter.
94.
86. So
Yeah,
Mick got
let's
it.
go.
Yeah, it wasn't going to matter which. So there was no reason
I might
in
be
delay.
playing 5D chess.
No reason to stall.
Gosh, so many D's.
Sterling, your second movie, please. Child.
So proud of himself.
Absolute child.
Speaking of
I
D's,
told you he
Which one
reads.
is the intern here?
Right.
speaking of D's, unlikely gigolo Deuce Bigelow
Wait, is that
Is it a
there's
part two?
second,
Resume-
Deuce Bigelow?
resumes his sex-related
my
antics when
God.
his friend and former pimp T.J. Hicks, Eddie Griffin, invites him to Amsterdam. Deuce Bigelow,
Gravy, Kansas City, Missouri.
Deuce Bigelow, European gigolo.
I had no idea they made it.
You don't remember the
didn't know this
European Gigolo?
existed.
Oh,
No.
so good.
Did they go to all the continents? Was it Asian after that? Australian Gigolo?
Or the Leaning
Deuce
Tower of
Bigelow,
Pisa being on the
Australian
poster.
gigolo.
Antarctic
What was that, Drake?
I remember the Leaning Tower of Pisa being on the poster. That's all I remember.
Yeah, it's right
As
there.
he was seeing
Yeah.
it in the movie theater.
And where do you think it's supposed to be? It's in a
It's in a
I'm not going to
European
describe
country.
There's a
Anyway, go ahead,
reflection
intern.
I'm going to go with 40. 40.
40,
40. Wow.
40.
Yep, a little
Yep.
Bobby Whip.
I'm going to go with 12%.
9.
Dang,
Dang it, you didn't go low enough again.
9%.
Oh, I got the right on?
Right on, 9%.
Because of me. Dang it.
Heck yeah. All right, Mick, now you can go.
Crap. What am I doing? This is
This is the fans. What do the fans think of the European
Can you
Gigolo?
tell
What-
me what was the fans for the first one?
Was it I don't have that in front of me. Was this a fan favorite, though? Could be.
I believe it was low 40s, right?
I
I
Was that
low
said
40s?
40s.
I said 44 for the fans.
And you got it
and
right.
I got it right.
Because I said 39.
Whatever,
I think.
I was
and you
within
had
two.
42. Yep, that's
Yep,
right.
yep.
And it was 42. Christ. 29.
19.
22.
Mick wins 34.
Let's go.
It was a fan
go.
favorite, apparently.
Clearly with 34%. All right, intern, what's your second movie?
Mookie.
A young man returning
Hollis.
home for a wedding crosses paths with a drifter who turns out to be a violent bank robber and finds himself involved in the robber's plans. Kansas.
Oh, my God.
I like it. Good job, though.
That's not bad, yeah.
What was his theme?
Clever. States?
We're supposed to have a
The
theme?
Big Eight?
His theme was the Big Eight. Can't wait for Iowa State.
What year is this movie?
Like you don't know.
1988.
Yeah, put that on. He's going to be looking. 88.
They made the movie after the national championship team?
Oh, wow. Yeah,
What are the odds.
44%.
It's about Kansas, so I mean.
That's the 34 state if you want to go 34%.
Oh, well done, 34%.
67%.
18.
Oh, you're welcome.
They did not
Thank you.
That's Kansas, right? I know
No,
the
that's
band.
that's Oklahoma, the band. I wish it was 34%, by the way.
That would have been,
awesome. Go 34.
Stormed.
34. That's exactly right.
What's this movie about?
He already explained it to you.
Two
Bank robber.
teenage guys.
They're going
meet
home
a
to
bank
a-
robber.
Yeah.
Just guys being dudes. 18% is wow.
Yeah.
Low.
Matt Dillon and Andrew McCarthy. are
Matt
the leads.
Dillon's in
Yeah,
it?
Matt Dillon's
And
in
Andrew McCarthy?
it. Yeah.
How about that? And
Brat
the Robin
packing
Banks?
It. Brat packing it.
That's crazy. It's the wolf.
Let me guess. Matt Dillon's the bank robber.
I'll go
Gotta
first because I am next up. So the fans thought it was 31%.
They liked it more. 50%.
34%.
19.
Yeah.
Man,
This movie just
I know
sucked.
all
man.
about
Jason's just
Kansas.
going low on everything.
I know all about
Must have-
Kansas. Let me tell you.
This must have just been a horrible movie.
Mick. Yes, it was Mick. Final movie.
So from overrated baseball movie to underrated baseball movie, 61. Because they
Okay.
got the characters to
good.
look exactly
Yeah, that was
like
good. It was
Maris
good.
and
I'm
Mantle.
gonna go with. I'm gonna go 87.
You're going to win. 86.
All right, there we go. I'll go ahead and take that
Run
point
this-
right there.
run away from
Sterling, what do you think about the fans? What did the fans think of 61?
89.
You're going to win. It's 90.
There we go. That was
Saving
quick.
time. Wow. Saving
Heck
time.
yeah, man. Score is 7-4 to 3-2. And I've got 7,
Yeah.
so I cannot get any more points. All right, last one is as America's stock of athletic young men is depleted during World War II, a professional all-female baseball league springs up in the Midwest, funded by publicity-hungry candy maker Walter
Never heard of
Harvey.
this one either.
It's League
Is
of
this
Their Own.
Nebraska? Oh.
Yep. League of Their Own. Sterling?
89%.
All right, you won. It's 88. Oh, excuse me. Nope, it's not 88. Sorry. My bad. That was Field of Dreams was 88. Sorry. I was looking at Field of Dreams.
Okay.
Sorry.
Wow, well,
No, I was
way
looking
to
at-
give it away.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't give it away. I was looking at Field of
there might be
Dreams.
I'm
some
sorry,
hits in
calling
there.
the Chili Peppers. Give it away now.
I didn't give it away. I literally didn't. I was
Give it away, give it away, give it
I
away
gave
now.
away Field of Dreams that we've already done. There was no giving that away. I didn't
said
say that this
89.
was close to that.
I feel like I'm under the bridge.
He said 89. What do you say?
84.
92.
I'm marking out my Field of Dreams one so I don't get this mixed up. 82. So
Yeah.
if you'd have gone 81, you'd have had it.
I should have. Is that from Kansas?
Oklahoma. All right, so what do the fans think? Their internalytics, Bo?
89.
Yeah, I'm going back to 92.
86.
Sterling, it was 84.
Whoa!
Oh,
wow.
sorry. It was. No, I'm joking. Sterling,
I would have
There you
jumped
go.
over this table so slowly.
7-4 to 4-3. Sterling finished last. Do you celebrate when you finish last the way that you do when you win? Because
Yeah,
I won.
apparently.
I
does.
have so many people to thank.
Yep. 7. All right, we'll take a break. Come back. More Zanek. News of the day. Kansas City Royals have traded for Adam Frazier.
So catch me up on what Adam's been doing these days.
He's playing for the Pirates.
Because somebody said Chris Bryant last night. I'm like, I'm going to catch myself on what Chris Bryant's been doing lately.
Yeah.
Just being hurt, basically.
Yeah, Adam Frazier is playing for the Pirates and batting like 260 something, 310.
So he would
on
lead
base.
the Royals and be third in the Royals.
Yep, when not 310 on base percentage, but 310 when guys are on base. He's batting 310. So a depth piece. They've traded Cam Devaney.
And it's a major league contract, right?
Yep. So he's with the big league club. They have moved Cam Devaney after his 5 days with the big league club and 0 playing time. Didn't get an at bat. Didn't even get a Moonlight Graham a little bit in the field. So
He's played before, though, right?
No, that was going to be his major league debut.
Oh, man.
Yep,
Because I've heard about it. I figured like one of these Septembers he's played or I missed it.
Yeah, because the story of
he
all
still
of his,
hasn't gone.
all of his family in town on Tuesday. Coaches came in town on Tuesday. Family stayed waiting for the.
Yeah.
Never happened. Now he's a Pirate. Also, Ricky Scoops, Slick Rick, that had the Trey Smith story and a lot of other stories, tweets out that the Chiefs are closing in on a new deal with George Karlaftis. Expected to be done during camp. There is serious momentum towards getting an extension done. And as we said earlier, makes sense if you sign Karlaftis this summer and franchise tag next summer for Trent McDuffie, because the franchise tag for cornerback is 22. Franchise tag for defensive end is 26.5.
There you go.
So got to
That's
get
less.
one done. It is less.
It's less.
It's less. But we always want more.
We do.
With Mick. Thank you, buddy.
You bet.
Talk
See
to you
guys.
Friday. Absolutely. Enjoy the
Friday.
program. It's next.